सब रेस में लग गए। ऐसे पढ़ के फर्स्ट आ भी गए तो क्या फायदा? आप लोगों की नॉलेज बढ़ेगी नहीं, सिर्फ प्रेशर बढ़ेगा। अरे चाबुक के डर से तो सर्कस का शेर भी उछल के कुर्सी पर बैठना सीख जाता है, लेकिन ऐसे शेर को हम वेल ट्रेन्ड कहते हैं, वेल एजुकेटेड नहीं।
1968 में आई थी इंडिया की पहली एजुकेशन पॉलिसी इंदिरा गांधी गवर्नमेंट में, और 1986 में आई थी इंडिया की दूसरी एजुकेशन पॉलिसी राजीव गांधी गवर्नमेंट में, जिसे 1992 में पीवी नरसिम्हा राव की गवर्नमेंट ने मॉडिफाई किया था। और अब 34 साल बाद आई है इंडिया की न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी।
The National Education Policy 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and replaces the 34-year-old National Policy on Education 1986. Built on the foundational pillars of success, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability, this policy is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and aims to transform India into a vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making both school and college education more holistic, flexible, multidisciplinary, suited to 21st century needs and aimed at bringing out the unique capabilities of each student. Now, it's time to have an in-depth knowledge on NEP 2020.
Thank you, Sister Sujata, Sister Cynthia, Sister Elvina, for creating a prayerful environment and giving us a gist of NEP 2020. Now, I would like to invite our dear Principal, Dr. Sister Tanuja Wagmare, to deliver a welcome address.
Thank you, Joan. Dear friends, good morning to each one of you. Welcome to the jointly organized national webinar on National Education Policy 2020. Education is a primary prerequisite for the development of a just and equitable society and to uphold national development. The entire world is experiencing rapid changes in the knowledge arena. In this context, the National Education Policy 2020 was approved by the Government of India. The necessity for a new education policy was sensed in the country for a long time. The new education policy has been introduced in keeping with the inadequacies of the preceding education policy and the present and imminent need, which can lead to significant transformative transformations in both the school and higher education sectors. The webinar is an eye-opener in this direction. Dear friends, this National Education Policy 2020, Restructuring Education for Quality Enhancement, is the need of the hour. And so here we are with you once again. It is our great privilege to collaborate with the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. We are indeed extremely grateful to Dr. Father John P.J., Principal of the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, Dr. Sheena Thomas, the Organizing Secretary. I really thank them from the very depths of my heart for this great opportunity that they have given. I also thank St. Teresa's Junior College of Education, Mumbai, Principal Sister Saroj CCR, the teachers and the students. Grateful too to St. Aloysius High School, Vasai, Mumbai, Principal Sister Prema CCR, and the teachers too. Holy Cross High School, Vasai, Mumbai, Principal Father Brendan Fatado, and teachers. Gokhale Education Society, B.Ed College of Education and Research, Dr. Prashant Kale and his dear students. They hail from Parel, Mumbai. I thank all the other participants too from the different parts of the country, Haryana, Pune, Nagaland, Punjab, and many others too. I'm really indebted to each one of you. I also take this opportunity to thank all our dear sponsors, the resource people, and yes, of course, Dr. Joan, who is the main person behind this national webinar, and all my dear staff members. And yes, Dr. Sheena, Dr. John, and their faculty members too. I really thank each one of you for being here, for cooperating with us, and for making it all a possible event for today. And so, friends, here we are. Ordinary people, while working together, can perform extraordinary feats. So good luck to you, happy viewing, and once again, welcome to each one of you. Thank you.
Now, I request Dr. Sister Tanuja Wagmare, Principal of St. Teresa's Institute of Education, Mumbai, to announce the release of the webinar publication.
Thank you, Harshita. It is my privilege to officially release the publication of this webinar, Galaxy Link by Ajanta Publications, which is a UGC-approved, peer-reviewed journal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Tanuja. Also, thank you so much, Sister, for welcoming all the participants. We will now begin with our first session. All the participants, please make a note. All the questions will be addressed towards the end of the session. People watching on YouTube, please put your questions in the comment section. And people on Google Meet, kindly put your questions in the chat box. To be inspired is great, but to inspire is an honor. Our first speaker is deeply interested in policies regarding higher education in India and has active participation in various seminars. He has played instrumental role in giving suggestions to redrafting committee of NEP as a team member of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. We welcome you, Sir Milind Sudhakar Marathe. Sir is a retired associate professor from Department of Electronics Engineering of KJ Somaya College of Engineering. He completed his bachelor in engineering in the year 1984 and masters in engineering in the year 1997 from Veer Mata Jijabai Technological Institute, Mumbai. He was a lecturer there too. Technological Institute, Mumbai. Undergraduate courses like Basic Electrical Engineering and Electronics, Electronic Devices and Circuits, and postgraduate courses like Power Electronic Devices and Design, Foundation of Energy Engineering, Advanced solar photovoltaic system, and many other are taught by Sir Milind. Electrical Network, a notebook for third semester BE course, Nandu Publications, Mumbai, is a book published by him. He has also written articles for many journals like Survey of Icelandic Detection Schemes, published in the International Journal of Trend in Research and Development, Volume 3, and Optoelectronic Differential Joystick for Electronic Control of Wheelchairs and Robots, published in International Journal of Scientific and Engineering Research, Volume 6. He is a member of Institute of Engineers, India. He is a life member of Indian Society of Technical Education, New Delhi. He was a former VC's nominee on governing body of Viva Institute of Technology at Shirgaon. He was a former president's nominee, Executive Council, Northeastern Hill University, Shillong. There are many such feathers in his cap. The list of his achievements is unending. We are very pleased to have you, sir. Now I request, sir, to take over.
Thank you, Harshita, for your kind words. And good morning to one and all present over here. Harshita will present my PowerPoint presentation. So let us start with today's topic, that is decoding National Education Policy 2020 with respect to school education. I'm very happy that the organizers have given a thrust to the school education, because in National Education Policy, there is a total revamping of school education and a thrust is given on school education. So I'm very happy to say something about National Education Policy 2020 with respect to school education. Next. Yeah, next slide, please.
Natasha.
Okay. Madam, can I share just a minute? And if I stuck up somewhere, then will it be okay, or Natasha will do that?
Yes, sir, you can do that. Natasha, you can stop sharing, please. Yes, sir, now you can try.
Now, is my first slide visible?
No, sir, you have not yet presented the screen. Down on your screen, sir, up arrow will be there, one icon. Like an
No, I think I have done that, but let me redo it. No, I think I have not given right. Achha, anyway, chalo, Harshita, please go to the next slide. Chalo, anyway, because
Okay,
I think the right is not given.
Okay, so no problem. We'll do it from our end.
Yeah,
No
sure. So, yeah. So when I will start talking about the National Education Policy, and as I was instrumental in giving inputs to the Dr. Kasturi Rangan's committee, who was the chairman of redrafting committee of NEP 2020, in between I came to know about the Mahatma Gandhi's Nai Talim, a book basically written in Gujarati, but I could read the English translation. And I was astonished, surprised that perhaps Kasturi Rangan must have asked Mahatma Gandhi ji while redrafting the National Education Policy 2020. From the book Nai Talim of Mahatma Gandhi, I have picked up 5 important quotes, or I will not say quotes, thoughts Mahatma Gandhi ji said or expressed about the education. And with those 5 thoughts, keep in mind the present text of NEP 2020 And you will find it's a tremendous similarity, and what Mahatma Gandhi ji was saying, perhaps it has been reflected in NEP 2020 in its fullest capability and in totality. First, all-round development. Main aim of education should be to draw the best out of person's mind, body, and soul. So this is to say that he must not only develop at the mental level, but also at physical, spiritual, and aesthetic, even at intellectual level. Then second point is mother tongue as the medium of instruction. Now it is hard for many schools from Tamil Nadu, particularly because Tamil Nadu state has raised an issue for this particular point when the NEP 2020 was declared. But Mahatma Gandhi ji categorically said that mother tongue as the medium of instruction. This would help in better understanding and clarity of ideas. Then the third point which Mahatma Gandhi ji said, that third point will be about, he has said, next slide please. Third point was social awareness and service. Because if a learned person is not socially aware and if he is not service oriented, and when I say service, it is a selfless service. Nobody is intending to get some returns or some motives behind service. So social awareness, love for motherland, and to live in coordination with their fellow citizens is a very important thing for a learned person or an educated person. Then fourth point, he narrated education of heart, because the purity of heart is indispensable, and purity of personal life is the one indispensable condition for building a sound education. Here comes the issue of character, and Mahatma Gandhi ji also told the method that this cannot be imparted through books, but it can only be done through the living touch of the teacher. So he underlined importance of teacher. And last but not the least, craft-centered education. He said that handicraft is the means to develop the mind as well as soul. And so school must not focus on theoretical knowledge. And he also insisted that it should start from pre-primary classes. So this would help in invoking creativity, innovation, and it will also enhance the mind-hand coordination. So these are the 5 important thoughts of Mahatma Gandhi about education. And now in light of this, if we reflect on what NEP 2020 says about the school education, you will find tremendous similarities. Now with this much background, let us go to the next slide. And you will find that in next slide, I have told about the simple copy paste from the document where NEP 2020 envisions an India-centered education system. I would like to underline India-centered education system that contributes directly to transforming our nation sustainably. So transformation of our nation, not temporarily, sustainably into equitable and vibrant knowledge society. Knowledge society should not be the, what you can say, knowledge society should not be of few limited lucky people of the country, but it should be for all. So it's equitable with a high quality education. Next slide. So this is the declared vision of National Education Policy 2020. Now just let us go to the background of NEP. So I will directly go to the point number 2. Point number 2 is very important because technology has changed and Industry 4.0 revolution is knocking the door. Or why knocking the door? It has entered. Because of that, employment avenues, businesses, business models, they are changing very fast. Mobile phones, computers, internet penetration is ever increasing. And that's why some of the qualities of the student should acquire in this 21st century have changed drastically. Gone those days when I used to have my core knowledge base in electrical engineering. I don't know anything about other subjects. I don't know languages. I don't know economics. I don't know entrepreneurship. Then I gave 2 to 3 interviews. I got selected and I remain in the institute for long. And now I have just retired. So gone those days. So what are the competencies required today? First is one core competency, at least deep knowledge in 1 or 2 core subjects. Second is good knowledge of multidisciplinary subjects like arts, languages, social sciences, economics. So you cannot stick only to your subject. That sorry, I'm an electrical engineer and I don't know anything about the social sciences or economics. No, today's world will not allow the students to argue like this. Naturally, the third point is high computer literacy. When I was a student, we all were not com students. And today, every student is a .com student. But today, the high computer literacy is very, very essential. Another important thing has been prop up in this quality, that because of the fast changing technology and fast changing business and business models, students should acquire a fast capability to learn new things. Gone those days that whatever you have learned in your textbooks in your school and college will be available in your professional life for 10-15 years. No, sorry. It will change like anything. And that's why you must have to build up a capability to learn new things, adapt it, assimilate, and deliver the solutions. For example, in my my college days, I learned Fortran and C, some part of C++. But now the present day, these languages are not frequently used. Python has come up, many new things have come up. But today's student cannot say that I have not formally taught Python in my college days. No, new things will come. And you will have to adapt, assimilate, and deliver the solutions. Then the structured thinking, excellent communication, interpersonal working capabilities, creativity, innovation, intellectual curiosity. And last but not the least, Indian value systems, ethical compass, character, and service attitude. So with these core competencies to be developed in the student after school or college education is completed, now we look to the National Education Policy 2020 school. Next slide, please. So it is a decoding of the NEP 2020. So we must compare what is there in 1986 policy and 2020 policy. And I will restrict myself only to school education. I am sure that all these things you know already, but universalization of pre-primary education, that is the Anganwadi and preparatory class. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan has definitely played a very important role for a huge enrollment of the students in standard first, but not in a pre-primary education. And so this is a very typical aspect of this new education policy, that before standard 1, 3 years of pre-primary school connected to Anganwadi is introduced. Then curricular had changed from 10+2 to 5+3 plus 3 plus 4. I happen to be the second batch of 10+2, but now it has come to 5+3 plus 3 plus 4. Then many surveys have shown that foundational literacy and numeracy is very poor in the students who is going from 6 to 7, 7 to 8. They cannot do simple mathematical calculations. They cannot read continuously 10 sentences in their language. They cannot comprehend it. So these are the facts, and that's why government and the policy makers have taken this in mission mode to be achieved by 2025. I will quote it afterwards. Now it has been changed not to 2025, but after that because of the COVID. So foundational literacy and numeracy is a main focus in plus in a foundational stage, that is a 5 stage, and first year of the next 3 stage. Then there is a systemic tracking of students and their learning levels. So tracking is mentioned. Then equal weightage and no hard separation of subjects. No vocational and academic. Nothing like general stream and vocational stream. Nothing like arts, humanities, science. Nothing like curricular, extracurricular and co-curricular. Everything is curricular. Then home language, mother language, regional language as the medium of instruction. So these are the changes. Next slide. There are a few more. So if we go for that concept of school complex or clusters just to share the resources, then there is no differentiation between public and private schools. It may be a privately managed schools or government managed schools or Jilla Parishad schools. They all are at par as far as the government policies are concerned. Then socially and economically disadvantaged groups have been taken care, because there is a huge dropouts, and we all of us are know that in higher education, gross enrollment ratio has increased from 25 to 27 in today's context. What does it mean? 27% of the students of the age group appropriate are entering into the college. It means that 63% students are dropped out at various levels in school education. And so this policy says that no student should be dropped out. And that is the reason why this policy is trying to include each and every student. Next is from the teacher's point of view, this policy is saying that para teachers should eventually be phased out. I know many managements, government and private, they appoint a teacher like a Shikshan Sevak with a hardly 5,000, 7,000 rupees per month. Not permanent, contractual for 3 years, that too very minuscule salary. No doubt the teacher's motivation should not be the salary, but you cannot expect a person to perform the duties with the highest quality and integrity if you are giving him a throwaway price. But many managements are doing this for cost-cutting purpose. So this policy has said that para teachers eventually should be phased out. Then national professional standards for teachers have been come up. We will talk it afterwards. Then naturally the COVID has taught us the use of technology in education governance, teaching and learning, e-content. So these are some of the major changes. Next slide. Now with these points of backgrounds, let us come to the core topic, school education. Now, as we have already said that the ECCE has been introduced and restructuring of school curriculum is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. What is the reason to include the 3 years pre-first standard into this? First and foremost thing is the neuroscience shows that 85% of the child's cumulative brain is developed from 0 to 6 years. And we were admitting students in first standard at the age of 6. So these very crucial years were left out with the parents. And unfortunately in India, there is a various or huge population which is suffering from various levels of neglect and deprivations in early childhood. And that is the root cause of deficiencies in development of critical areas of the brain. And those students coming to first standard, they are lagging continuously. And so, because of the poverty, because of the rural and urban divide, because of the first learner generation coming to the school at first standard, but the parents are not at all literate, because of many things, family issues, there is a neglect and deprivation. And so there is a no level playing field And that's why this policy says that the policy or the nation or the government in position should take the responsibility of students right from 3 years before first standard, so that excellent care, nutrition, physical and emotional handholding, all these things can be done through government efforts. So then there is a huge possibility that each and every student will go ahead with the same quality. This is also a very important point as far as inclusion is concerned. Next. Now, when we go for this, there are some salient features of all these stages. First thing is, all stages are dependent on local traditions, ethical reasoning, no doubt, digital literacy, collaborative and exploratory activities. And because of that, this will generate among the students not only the knowledge, but learn how to learn. At the later stage, we'll come to that, but huge flexibility is given for choice of the subjects to the students. That is also a very important aspect. Next. Now I have quickly summarized this, all 4 stages, but I think that you all are aware of this, and so I will not go into the detail at this slide, but we will take up one stage at a time. Next, please. So again, it's a pictorial representation. I will make the slides available to you. I already sent it to Dr. Joan, so she will make it available to all of you. Next, please. So again, this is a foundational literacy and numeracy to become the highest priority in school. I will come to this also after few slides. Next. Yeah, so this is the initiative taken by the government. It's a Nipun Bharat, a national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy. So this is the national mission on foundational literacy and numeracy taken up by the government, and I request all of you to go through this document prepared by NCERT. No doubt it has been prepared in 2021. Now the implementation process of NEP 2020 has started. So there will be some fine tuning because this is not exactly in line with NEP 2020. But I will tell you very confidently that there are minor changes. So by and large, you can say that this document is very good. And each and every teacher who is handling the classes up to 6th standard should go through this document very critically. Next. Now, when I say Nipun Bharat, the literacy has been defined because it's a foundational literacy and numeracy. So I will not go into the definition. You can read it. But universal acquisition of foundational literacy and numeracy skills, if they are done in the primary level, this is written in that document that it has to be done by 26-27. And in original document by government, it has been mentioned that it is a 2025. But the idea was when 2020 it was adopted, and if COVID would not have been struck, then we could have completed in 5 years. But because of the COVID, it has been postponed up to 26-27. That numeracy, foundational literacy and numeracy mission should be completed. Next. Now, this is what foundational literacy and numeracy skills are. Here I have predominantly listed out literacy skills, or to be very precise, in literacy at this low level or very tender years of the students, it is basically a language. And in policy also, it has been mentioned that it should be play-based, exploration-based, singing, dancing, interact with teacher, one-to-one, in a group. So basically, language and communication is the thrust in this +5 stage. But no writing is mentioned. Many schools at very early stage start asking the students to write because they want to show how my school is advanced. But actually speaking, psychological point, it is not correct to ask students to write because fine motor capabilities are yet to be developed. And so this phase is to develop gross motor capabilities and fine motor capabilities among the students. And so writing is not at all advisable. And for this policy also very clearly says there is a ban on writing, I can say, if I want to say with an exaggeration. So this particular literacy means language. So oral language development, phonological awareness, because students should be aware about the sound, letter, and the symbol, because those will be proved as a building blocks for future communication. Then decoding it naturally. When you have been given a symbol, you have to decode it. So that capability also has to be developed. Then vocabulary. Then comes the reading. Because once you are aware about the alphabets, sound, their sequencing, making it into the words, the meanings, if these are fixed, then you can start the reading. And that's why in this literacy, it's a reading. And another very important thing is reading with comprehension. Otherwise, the reading has got no meaning. Then next important thing is reading with fluency. Otherwise, you will find that students will read I, A, M. So he is bit not confident about what that A and M is, sound and letter, the word am, what is its meaning, and can I comprehend fast and go ahead. So reading fluency is also considered as a literacy part. Then concept about print, that is also very important aspect. That in schools, in this 5 stage, that is the preparatory, pre-preparatory, that is the 3 and 2, that is the standard 1 and 2, good amount of print material should be displayed in the school. Pictures, letters with different font, with different scripts. So all these things will be available in the classroom so that the concept about print will also come to know, because it will help in decoding. For example, if I just see a particular logo, even a small kid also can say, it's a Cadbury logo. So that is the printed material, not words, picture, but he can decode it into it's a Cadbury chocolate. He may not be aware that it is a company, but he will say chocolate यानी ये logo है. So that is the concept about print. Then slowly you can think about writing at the afterward stage. That is the third, fourth, fifth stage. So no doubt, ECC writing is not allowed. But in foundational literacy and numeracy, it is allowed because it is up to standard 5th. And because of the COVID, they have also added standard 6th also in this foundational literacy. And the last but not the least, culture of reading. Because once you know how to read, comprehend, fluency, then you get inclined towards reading. Then the bonding with the books will start. And then the whole knowledge spectrum will be open to you. And that is the reason why slowly in standard 1st to standard 5th, or sometimes it will go up to standard 6th, with 3 years pre-first standard schooling, this literacy competency should be attained among the students. So that is the role of teacher. Next. This is about mathematical skills. Now, I will not go into the details, but you know that it is the ability to reason and to apply simple numerical concepts in daily life, problem solving, numbers, number concepts, then very small operations on numbers, addition, subtraction and all. And so, what are the mathematical skills? Pre-number concepts, numbers and operations on numbers, measurement, very important. Can I measure distance? What do you mean by distance? What do you mean by measurement itself? And when it comes, then naturally, all mathematical basic operations will be there. Now, it is up to 3 digits, but that can depend on person to person. Another important thing is that shapes and spatial understanding is required, because life is 3-dimensional. And so shapes need not be only 2-dimensional on a plane, but it should be in space. And from that, he can go up to the patterns. So all these are the mathematical skills. Next. Now, once we go to these skills, literacy as well as numeracy, what is the role of teacher? So teaching learning process is very important, and role of teacher is very clearly defined, that encourage children to talk. In early age, many times it has been observed that teachers are talking more in the class. Actually, it should be 180-degree reversal. Encourage children to talk. Creating an engaging learning environment. Because see, the kids in first stage, 5 stage, 3 pre-primary and first and second, and even in third, fourth, fifth, they are coming for fun. But our schools are not fun-based. Discipline, systems, they are dominant in the schools, and so students lose the interest in going to school. And so it should be an engaging learning environment. You can create number of corners in your class. It need not be class means all are sitting and teacher are standing. No. In one corner, there should be a different color. Clays are kept. In another corner, different toys are kept. Dolls are kept. Different sizes are kept. Blocks are kept. Then in another corner, there is a material for painting. And the students can engage himself, or rather, teacher should engage the students in different corners, and he should increase the interest among the students. So that is creating an engaging learning environment. Then naturally teaching through experiential and real world based pedagogy. Much has been talked about this. Another very crucial point is support struggling learners. They may be LDs, learning difficulty students, or they may be slower learners. But teacher has to identify struggling learner and support them. Go for a hand-holding. Then as I said, there should be a print-rich environment in class and toy-rich environment in class. Another important thing is continuous assessment and identifying learning gaps. And it is only by observation. It involves observing children on a continuous basis to understand their level of abilities, interest, and learning styles. What is the challenge? Unfortunately, very few teachers have had an opportunity to get trained in a multi-level, play-based, student-centric style of learning. No doubt, the government has come up with the National Initiative for School Heads and Teachers Holistic Advancement, popularly known as NIShtha, a customized FLN package, that is a foundational literacy and numeracy package for teachers teaching at this foundational stage. So one can very well use this and develop the capabilities of self to handle this very tender age group of students. Next, please. Now let's come to the next stage, which is a preparatory stage. Now in preparatory stage, it is from age 8 to 11. It is of 3 years and it's a grade 3rd to 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Now this stage will comprise of reading, writing, speaking, language, art, science and mathematics. But remember, now also today it's not there. Science and mathematics are not separate. It's not physics, chemistry, biology as we used to learn in higher standards. It is integrated. It is a science in home. It is a science in surrounding. It is an exploration of the nature, trying to get the questions from the happenings or processes. And once I form the question, try to get the answer. When I stare at the sky, the question comes in my mind, why sky is blue and not red? So this is my question. Now try to find out the question or formulate the question by looking at the sky or looking near our atmosphere, near nature, near our surrounding. So try to formulate the question and try to answer it. So that integrated approach has to be there. And as the extension of fine motor capabilities and gross motor capabilities has to be developed, sports and physical education is of utmost importance. Unfortunately, sports and physical education has given not sufficient weightage in our school system. I know our physical training, PT, mass PT class, many times get converted into mathematics or science just because the teacher has to complete the syllabus of maths and science. And we were very much interested in going for mass PT. So sports and physical education. So this will be in standard 3rd, 4th and 5th. Next, please. Then the next stage is middle stage. Now, actually middle stage, it's a more formal style of learning. It can add social science, humanities, bit deeper and experiential learning. If I'm learning science, it should be through and through with experimentation. No theory, no classroom, no blackboard. Can you convert almost all science teaching through experimentation? And when I say experimentation, it need not be in laboratory, not pipette, burette, stopwatch, binocular, microscope. No, it's not like that. You can use a very simple material and perform the experiment and try to inculcate scientific concepts among the students. So actually 6th, 7th, 8th is an extension of that. Up to 6th, standard 8th, no choice of subjects has been suggested by many scientists and many educationists. But there is a one very important change in NEP, and that is nothing but about the vocational education. We have experienced that the vocational education efforts were completely failed when they were attempted in earlier period. ITIs, then vocational courses. Ultimately, students tend to come in the degree because degree has got some unnecessary but important feature of the individual. If I am an ITI holder and I am earning 50,000 rupees per month, I am an electrician, I am a carpenter, I am an repairing AC and refrigerator, learned from ITI, but ultimately I am not a graduate. So such students or such professionals are looked down in the society. And these were the many reasons why the vocational education failed. And so in this policy, it has been mentioned that let us have a vocational education intermingled, interwoven, right from 6 to 12. That is the middle stage and secondary stage. So vocational education, they are categorized into two parts. 6, 7, 8 is a first category where they have said we will give only vocational exposure. Only vocational exposure. But they have very clearly said that 10 days, bagless days, should be a part of pedagogy. You may call it as a social internship. You may call it is learning without books and learning outside school. But it will be 10 bagless days. And what teachers are supposed to do in this? It is introduction and awareness about vocations around us. So, exposure to all students about various professions, businesses around them. So, teachers for 10 days without the bags are expected to take the students, group of students, to various banks, shops, malls, farms, small factories, laboratories of higher colleges, professional colleges. And when you take them over there, what you will do? It is not the visit, it's not the sightseeing. Make them aware about what are the job descriptions and skill sets required for that job. So if you enter into mall with a group of students, ask them that who is the doorkeeper? He is earning something. What skill sets you feel that doorkeeper is required to have? And if you want to pursue doorkeeper as your career, what qualities you will have to imbibe and what type of remuneration that doorkeeper will get. Then you will enter into the mall. Then there will be number of shops. Then there will be boys and girls standing over there to help the buyers and customers. So ask the student that is also another vocation. What qualities they should need. Then you will pick up the material. Then you will come to the counter. He will calculate and tell you bill. So that fellow is another vocation. So like that, when you go for these 10 bagless days to different locations, actually you have to concentrate on livelihood opportunities. What will be the world of work in future? What these people involved in this exposure are doing. There is no need always to go to the bank and malls. When you just come out of the school, you will find that one particular person is washing the car of the society. In a way, he is individually doing, but he is doing service. And against that, he will be earning livelihood. So can you say that the car wash करने वाला जो है, it is also a type of profession? Can you relate yourself? क्या आपको लगेगा कि आप professional हो जाओ car wash करने वाला? Then there will be a rickshaw passing nearby. So this is the idea of 10 bagless days. Every year, 6th, 7th and 8th, now the teachers and management can plan that what should be the locations for 6th, 7th and 8th. Even you can go to the small scale industry, see the production process, can think about the customer satisfaction, design aspect. Why customer satisfaction? Customer delight. So you make aware the students about the businesses and business models. In 8th standard and in 6th standard, you treat individual person as a probable vocation which student may pursue. So that is the first level of vocationalization of education. That is exposure. Then from 9th onwards, that is in a secondary stage, you will have to actually come to the conclusion and you can go for this. So let us come to the secondary stage. Now here many things have been changed in NEP and teachers should be ready for that. First thing is that now there is a flexibility of choice. I can tell you that it is a direction of career. Refer point number 3. It is a direction of career path. Will be chosen at 9th standard only and will be continued for this stage. That is 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Anyway, today also after 10th, students are choosing career path. Art, science, commerce, ITI, diploma. Many diplomas are there. So students are taking decision. and we call in our colloquial language that they get branched out. But this policy says that there is a zero compartmentalization now in education right up to the UG PG. What does it mean? It means that you choose a particular stream or faculty, but you are free to choose the subject. So when today's student enters into 9th, there is a standard books available to him. He don't have a choice to choose the subject. One mathematics, one science, split into physics, chemistry, biology, one social science. He can go for 2 or 3 languages. So this syllabus is designed by the teachers or the board of studies or whatever the authorities, but there is no choice. Now here from 9th standard, there will be very small modules and the student can opt for the modules. No doubt here a career counselor is required to guide the students and parents. But my personal experience is now students of this millennium, they're very smart. When I was in 10th standard and branched out in 11th standard, why I chose science? At that time, I have not decided I want to become an engineer. बट जनरली ऐसे था कि जिनको 85 के ऊपर मार्क्स मिलते हैं वो साइंस में जाते हैं, 65 to 85 वाले कॉमर्स में जाते हैं और 65 के नीचे वाले कई डिप्लोमा इधर उधर चले जाते हैं और जिनको बहुत कम मिला वो तो बेचारे आर्ट्स जाते हैं. So we chose the subjects according to that peer pressure. But now the students are more smart and that's why they have got clear aspirations. And so depending upon their aspirations, they can choose the modules. So here there is a challenge to the teachers that now the syllabus will not be a book standard. Even in physics, if it is dealing with motion, Newton's law, optics, electricity, magnetism, heat. But if the student is very clear that I would like to pursue only electrical engineering, why I should learn optics? So he can request the teacher to give a smaller module only in electrical part or electrical and electricity and magnetism, and he can opt for that. So there is a huge flexibility, and because of that, modules will be mentioned and students needs to select the modules according to his or her aspirations and interest. At this point of time, it may look weird or you may be a bit doubtful, but a lot of deliberations and study and practical implementable task has been done. So this is the one very important change. Another important thing is in this particular 9, 10th, 11th, 12th stage, it will be really critical thinking, very deeper knowledge, courses with great depth will be given. Activity, experimentation, projects will be introduced. Learning by doing will be the buzzword. And focus on cognitive, affirmative, and psychomotor domain. Actually, it is a holistic development of student is in this stage because now we are producing engineers, good engineers, but we are not sure whether those good engineers are good human beings and engineers. So here comes the approach of holistic development. Next slide. So let us go for the holistic development. Now it has been mentioned very categorically that there are 3 qualities of any human being or any student or any human being. First quality set is a foundational set. That is nothing but the foundational literacy and numeracy which normally student get acquired into his schooling days. Then second category is special qualities. For example, after schooling, if I opt for mass media course, then naturally for mass media, I will need writing skills, presentation skills, good communication, video making, report writing. But suppose if I opt for engineering, I need special qualities which engineer requires. And so the second qualities are special category, special qualities which are normally student get from the college education. But the third qualities are very important as far as the holistic development of student is concerned, and they are called as a traversal qualities, or actually it is nothing but the qualities required irrespective of profession to make the person good human being. What are they? No doubt, they need not be, all need not be developed in a student, but this is the list. Spirit of inquiry. It doesn't require only for science student. Actually, spirit of inquiry is the basis of learning, because this will generate thinking process, and student will try to become a creative problem solver. And because of that, we need spirit of inquiry. So actually, we call spirit of inquiry is a predominant quality of the science student or engineering student, but actually it is not. Irrespective of profession, spirit of inquiry has to be there in a good human being. Passion, hardworking, sincerity, creativity, innovativeness, working with the people, very important. I don't know any school which formally teach how to work with the people, how to work in a team, how to become a good leader, good team player, how to become very sensitive about the people around us, empathy, sharing and caring, respecting diversity in the country, respecting democratic values. All these things are important. We normally say that to acquire any particular knowledge, concentration of mind is very important. And nowadays, multitasking is the buzzword. But for multitasking, you should have concentration of mind capability and detachment of mind capability. But I have not come across in my schooling anywhere where concentration of mind and detachment of mind is taught to me. Actually, it is a very important tool to acquire any type of knowledge. And so whole lot of such qualities come under traversal qualities. And because of that, they should be incorporated. And that flexibility is given from 9th, 10th, 11th standard. And depending upon my aspiration and my career path, I can opt for this. Achha, not only this, I will tell you another important example for UG, that is undergraduate course, but slightly reflected over here. Suppose I have decided to be an entrepreneur. I will start my enterprise. Then after UG, should I do MBA again? Can I not take few subjects related to management, few subjects related to labor law, few subjects related to constitution? But in present system, this flexibility is not given. And that's why students are thrust upon the topics which has been decided by teachers or the experts, I will say. They are not bad, but they are not student-centric, they are system-centric. And that's why we will have to go for whole lot of subjects. No doubt, 70% core subjects and 30% not core subjects can be opted. So this is one major change at secondary stage. Now, if I want to go for a traversal qualities, I have listed number of activities which came in my mind, but they are not full and final. So things can be added, modified, experimented, and many schools are doing. Next slide. So I will not go into the list of activities. Next slide. Then in overall NEP, as I said, in major shift, education in local language or mother tongue. Now, language is not only the medium of instruction, but it is the expression of an individual, expression of a society, and its collective continuity in culture. And that's why don't look language as merely the medium of instruction. It is immaterial whether I'm learning science from my mother tongue Marathi, or I'm learning science from Gujarati, or I'm learning science from English. It hardly matters, because basically medium of instruction is not important. Language has got much more deeper meaning and importance in the human life. And that's why if you are learning in your mother tongue, then the fundamental thinking comes in. Why, if I am not learning in language other than my mother tongue, why this basic thinking is not coming? Actually, this is a not complete statement. But if I am talking, reading, learning in the language other than my mother tongue, then 30% of my brain capability is busy continuously in translating what I'm thinking and what I want to talk. That means the 30% capability of the brain is used just as a translator. That's the reason why the basic thinking cannot emerge, because the fullest capacity of the brain is not utilized. Mi mulga ahe. When I say in Marathi, at understanding level also मुझे समझ में आता है मी मुलगा आहे, यानी I am a boy. But if my language is not English, and if somebody says that I am a boy, then my mind and my brain translates that I am a boy into me mulga hai, and then at the understanding level I conclude, oh, me mulga hai, got it. So this is the energy process lost in translation, and that is the reason why experts are saying that you should learn in your local language. Now NEP, I have categorically mentioned 2019. It's an original draft, 472 page draft written by Kasturi Rangan. Further slightly modified, and 2020 document has come up. Then further shortened for operational purpose into 76 page English document and 101 page Hindi document. That's why I specifically mentioned NEP 2019 document. It strongly suggests that the medium of instruction, preferably till grade 8 or at least till grade 5th, will be the home language, mother language, and local language. Now there is also multilingualism, and that's why 3-language formula is still there. Only thing is that it is appeal to the students and parents to think language not only as a medium of instruction, but it is the medium of expression of individuality. So that is the reason why this policy is very specifically saying that education till 5th and preferably till 8th is in mother tongue, but the choice is given. And that's why AICTE also has tried last year that some institutes can have engineering also in mother tongue, or not mother tongue, state language. And surprisingly, that experiment is gaining good momentum. I don't know at this point of time how many students will opt for that, but I am sincerely thinking that option should be available to the students. Next slide. Then in school education only, the emphasis is given for special care of socio-economic disadvantaged groups, ACDGs. I will not spend the time, but the first ACDC is gender, women and transgender. Second ACDCG is socio-cultural identities like SC, ST, OBC, Muslims, migrant communities. Third is special need like learning difficulties and differently able students. And fourth is economically disadvantaged, urban poor, rural needy. These are the 4 categories, and school administration, school administrating government authorities should take care that no student is left out from the school. That's why the tracking, many what you can say, steps for inclusion, they are suggested. Next. This is just an example that can you give targeted scholarships and some financial support. Experiment of Bihar to give bicycle to the girl student proved good, because from Tehsil center to district headquarter, if the parent has to send his daughter to the school, say 10, 12 kilometers away, then the transportation, safety of the girl in transportation, these issues are there. So instead of that, group of girls from that village collectively can travel by bicycle given by the government, so that increase the sustainable ratio, sustenance of the girl students in school. But this cannot be generalized, and so there should be targeted efforts. This policy also says that declaring large population regions of certain SEDGs as a special education zone. But very important thing this policy mentioned is student teacher ratio 25:1. I know this is not there in many schools, but this is at least mentioned clearly in the policy document. Next. This is another innovative idea. It is a concept of school complex. Many schools are not equipped with the required resources. And UDAS data of 16-17, I could not today get time to search for the updated data, but they say that 28% of the public primary and 14.8% of upper primary schools are less than 30 students. 1,19,303 are single teacher schools. So small size of a school will not make the campus vibrant. Laboratory equipment, physical resources like sports material, books, music and art activities, human resources like teachers of various subjects, music teachers, sports teachers, psychological counselors, they cannot be affordable for a school with a less number of enrollment. So this particular policy has suggested nothing new, but can you use resources of around schools and colleges collectively, enter into MOU and form a school complex. A sports teacher can be appointed not for a single school, managements may not afford it, but a 15-20 schools around 30 kilometers area can easily appoint one sports teacher, and he can move around once in a week, once in a 15 days, once in a month, and at least do something for the students of all schools who will not be able to afford individually a sports teacher. Many things can be done. And that's why for optimal learning environment, a minimum critical number of students per division is necessary. And that can be done through school complex. Next. छोड़ दो ये तो इसका थोड़ा detail है. Now last point is teachers. Now if this policy has to get successfully implemented, passionate, motivated, highly qualified, professionally trained, well-equipped teachers with mother-like heart for their students at all levels of education is required. And for this, they have very clearly said that teacher education must be 4 years integrated B.Ed after 12th. If you have done UG graduation, okay, 2 years integrated program of B.Ed. Acha, you have done masters, then only 1 year graduation is required. Another important thing is that B.Ed colleges should not be standalone institutes. They should be part of multidisciplinary institutes so that they will get acquainted with science faculty, commerce faculty, arts faculty. I'm saying science, commerce, arts because it is a present situation. Tomorrow it will not be science, arts, commerce. It will be subject choice which will lead to a particular profession. Then there is a special merit scholarship coupled with guaranteed employment in rural areas for brilliant students to become teacher. All the vacant posts of teachers must be filled. All para teacher should be stopped from the system by 2020 was the original document 2019. It will definitely go ahead. And closure of substandard teacher education institutes should be done at top priority. So these are some of the suggestions given in the NEP document. Next. Now, as it is said, it is deep rooted, it should be deep rooted in Indian culture, values, and ethos. So that is also an bottom line. It has been mentioned in a vision of this national education policy also. Next. So to conclude, NEP 2020 is an India-centric Indian education system with primacy of Indian languages. It is forward-looking with indigenous wisdom and roots. It is integrated, inclusive, comprehensive, and holistic. It has a capacity to completely revamp the Indian education system. This NEP will throw away the colonial education policy lock, stock, barrel. So I appeal to all of you, the teachers, acclimatize with this policy, appreciate and accept the philosophy and concerns and revolutionary ideas, and then act to implement this with letter and spirit. So I appeal to all the members of education fraternity. I normally don't use the word stakeholder. It gives me the feeling that I am doing some business and there are stakeholders. That's why I categorically use the word fraternity, education fraternity, including government, to come forward and take maximum efforts for successful implementation of NEP 2020. Next. So that's all from my side today. When I say namaste, actually the meaning of namaste is the divine in me respectfully recognizes the divine in you. We all are a manifestation of one power. Thank you. So that's all from my side. I'm very sorry that I was earlier planning to keep some 10 minutes for question answer session, but I utilized the full time given to me. So I don't think that now there will be a possibility of questions, but I left it to Dr. Joan and the organizers. If you want to go for, say, for a few minutes, I'm there. Otherwise, I again thank you very much to Dr. Joan and the organizers, principals of both the institutes, St. Teresa Institute and Bhopal Institute, for calling me and giving me an opportunity to interact with grade 73 teachers. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are often told to follow our roots since they have a strong foundation. Thus, speaking of roots, Sir Milind threw a light on Gandhiji's Nai Talim and how it can influence today's education. As future teachers, it's very important that we know how National Education Policy 2020 contribute towards the transformation of our nation, which Sir very well presented and made us aware about. Thank you, sir, for teaching us the value of respecting every student's perspective, needs, and the background they belong. If we don't study the history, we are bound to repeat it. And hence, it was very important that we understand the past national education policies. Tech is the future in every field that you have today, and so in education. Sir, very well put forth how future of education depends on how well we adapt to the change and how we update ourselves. Samlin also guided us how national education policy is not just for students but also for a bright future of teachers. ABCs and 1 to 3 are not just English alphabets and numbers, but they are also the basic right of people who have chosen the path of literacy. And with that, we are grateful to you, sir, for acknowledging us to Nipun Bharat, which has the same motto. Samilin Sudhakar Marathe, thanking you once again on behalf of Dr. Sister Tanuja Wagmare, Principal of St. Teresa's Institute of Education, the entire staff, students of STI. Sir, I would also like to thank you on behalf of Dr. Father John PJ, Principal of the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, and everyone present in the webinar today. It was really great to have you on board with us. Thank you, sir. With that, I would like to introduce our next speaker for today, Dr. Agnes DeCosta. Ma'am, first of all, with a very warm welcome, I would like to let you know that it's an esteemed pleasure to have you on board with us. Ma'am Agnes is an associate professor at Pushpanjali College of Education, Vasai. She's been a part of this college since 1996, starting her journey as teacher educator. She also has 8 years of school teaching experience at St. Augustine's High School, Vasai. While having a master's degree in science in inorganic chemistry, ma'am has also pursued MA in history as well as MA. Her academic achievements are truly inspiring. Adding to that, ma'am has done her PhD research on a study of the relationship between teacher effectiveness and multiple intelligence of secondary school teachers under the guidance of her mentor, Dr. Veena Deshmukh, and has also cleared the SET examination. Ma'am, as a student of B.Ed myself, I feel so inspired by you, and I'm sure the feelings are mutual with everyone in the meeting right now. Dr. Agnes is the winner of NCERT Award 2012 for innovative practices in teacher education for research entitled Open Education Resources in Teacher Education. She is also a recognized expert for evaluation of e-content by Central Institute of Educational Technology, NCERT, New Delhi. Ma'am also stood second in University of Mumbai at B.Ed examination 1992. She has also been awarded the best user page for the month of September 2010 by Wiki Educator. An avid supporter of open education resources and blended learning. Dr. Agnes has published following books: A Call for Constructive Classrooms and Empowering Leaders, and textbooks for B.Ed on knowledge and curriculum, gender, school, and society. Ma'am, it's an honor to get an opportunity to introduce the person who has published the very books that are an integral and important part of our B.Ed journey. We are really lucky to have you here today. And the list of her achievement goes on and on. The vision of binding education with technology is truly the future of educators as well as learners. The pandemic taught us that the world that runs face to face can easily be shifted online and everything can go digital. Ma'am, your step towards this great movement is going to change the way we see education. Education is going to increase its boundaries and have far and wide impact because of this. Before we have ma'am addressing us, I would just like to say a woman can definitely be the change and bring the change. It's going to be truly amazing to hear from the lady who is undoubtedly the motivation for all the teachers in making. On that note, welcoming Dr. Agnes DeCosta. Ma'am, requesting you to take over and thank you.
Thank you so much, Siddhi. Thank you so much for those words of appreciation. I don't know whether I'm really worth it, but nonetheless, thank you so much. We just had a very enlightening session by Sir Milind Marathe. The NEP, I have gone through it a number of times. I've conducted many sessions on this, but Sir Milind was like a jeweler. And when a jeweler gives you a diamond, he allows you to explore its various facets. And that was what this morning's session for me was like, sir, where it was like exploring the NEP from another angle. And thanks for that. I say thank you on behalf of everybody who is with us on the Google Meet, as well as those who are watching us on YouTube Live. So I take the session ahead from there. While Sir spoke a lot about school education, I will be looking at how ICT can help to transform education through this wonderful document of NEP 2020. So I'm looking at the role of ICT in ushering a vibrant knowledge society. Just give me a minute for me to share my screen. Okay, so I hope the screen is visible. If I'll just share just a window, just give me a minute. Yes. So we are looking at the role of ICT in ushering a vibrant knowledge society as has been visualized by NEP 2020. My pleasure to be on this forum, and a big thank you to both St. Teresa's Institute of Education as well as the Bhopal School of Social Sciences for conceptualizing this wonderful webinar. If we look at this graphic, the graphic tells us what society has come through in all these centuries. Right from the hunting society that we had, we have come now to a super smart society, a society where we have super smart computers, we are ruled by knowledge and information, and such a society is what looks at open knowledge. There is value on easy access. You should be able to access information, knowledge easily. We look forward to organizations that will be learning organizations, and you cannot do this if it is a society that is devoid of knowledge networks. So this graphic, yes?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but your PPT is on the first slide only. It's not moved ahead.
Okay, then I'll stop sharing and I will. Cinderella, please inform me about this.
Yes.
Is there any technical glitches?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we on the second slide?
Well, it's not on slideshow mode. At least we can't see.
It is on slideshow. One. Okay, still not on slideshow. I'll restart my PPT otherwise.
No, ma'am, it's not on slideshow.
Okay, I will restart the.
Do you want to share?
No,
from
but then again, I'll have to send it to you, etc. Just give me a minute. I'll put it on slideshow. Now, Cinderella? Hello?
No, ma'am, it's not happening. I think you can just increase the percentage of the slide there,
No,
and
I,
we can.
I want it on slideshow because that will
maybe
be
some
the
network problem.
No, I will. Sorry for the glitch.
No problem.
Now, Cinderella?
Yes, now it is. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So we are in a knowledge society, as I said, a super smart society, an information-oriented society, where there is a lot of focus on open knowledge, on easy access, where there is a stress on having learning organizations, and knowledge networks are the key to everything. Now, in such a situation, what is the role played by NEP 2020? NEP 2020 offers us 5 pillars. Cinderella, can you see the 5 pillars? I hope the PPT is fine now. Cinderella?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. So we have these 5 pillars of NEP 2020, which are access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. So we are going to look at how ICT is going to play an important role in these 5 pillars. If we want education to be accessible, if we want education to be of good quality, if we want it to be equitable, affordable, and something with a lot of accountability, then what is the role going to be played by ICT? First of all, look at how NCT helps you in accessing knowledge. And I'm sure this is something that is being used by everybody. We are already using it. So it is not something new that you're going to use once LEP has already started its process. And once it is into full swing, we are going to use this to a greater extent. Already student teachers and school teachers and even maybe teachers teaching in undergraduate level are using repositories like Diksha, which is digital information sharing. And we should be proud that we have got this material in more than 18 Indian languages. And there's a variety of material. So if you are not using Diksha, you can have a look at Diksha. You can see how it will make your work easy, and it allows access to education to the teacher as well as to the students. There's a variety of material like textbooks, there are videos, there are evaluation exercises, there are lesson plans, which can be of very great help. Many of you, I can see, are first-year students. So maybe first-year B.Ed students. Some of you are already teachers, and you may be planning your lessons. This is a wonderful resource to give you great ideas to make your lessons, to make your lesson planning more effective. Another way that ICT can help us in providing access to knowledge is through QR codes. I'm not sure how many of you use QR codes for education. Surely we use QR codes when we go to a shop and we scan a QR code to pay somebody. But you can also use this very effectively in education. And we have seen this. A primary school teacher, Ranjit Singh Disley, has used this, and he went on ahead to win the Global Teacher Award. One of his contributions there was the great use of QR codes in making education accessible and also enjoyable to his students. I had a student of mine who very recently was sharing how he uses QR codes. So he creates a lot of learning material, uploads it on the web. It may be on something like YouTube or a blog, or even it could be on his own Google Drive. But then he gets a shareable link for it. And when students in the class have completed their work, and let us say the students in the class are then noisy, or there is a tendency for them to be, to get a little bit restless, then what he does is he gives them a mobile and he tells them scan this QR code and go in for some enriched learning. You can create such QR codes free of charge. All you need to do is go to Google, go to QR code maker, and just put the web link of the resource that is created by you. And immediately a QR code is generated. Such QR codes can be displayed at important spots, let's say on your notice board, or let's say in your library, you have got a felt board. You can have these QR codes and students can go in for enriched learning. Another example of ICT providing access to knowledge is through things like presentation translator. We just heard Sir Marathe telling us that we always first think in our mother tongue, and 30% of our energy might go in decoding from one language to the other if the speaker is speaking some other language. Presentation translator is one example where the person may be speaking in one language, but as you can see in this graphic, everybody else is holding a device in his hands, and whatever the presentation, it may be in language X, but you will see it translated into your own mother tongue language. Why? With the help of a presentation translator. This is an add-on that is now provided by Microsoft PowerPoint. And this is one example where access to knowledge can be provided through the help of ICT, with the help of presentation translator. Then all of us must be familiar with MOOCs, massive open online courses. Again, here, we have to be very, very proud of the fact that we have got so many such MOOCs on Swayam, which is our own indigenous platform. You can also go and undertake MOOCs from other platforms like Coursera, etc. Why stop at just accessing MOOCs? My dear teachers, you can create your own MOOCs. There are several platforms like Open Learn Create is one, or Canvas.instructure is one, where it is very simple to create MOOCs, to create massive open online courses for your students, which they can access 24/7 at their own. They are very flexible, so they can study on their own. You can try this maybe for remedial teaching. Some of your students may be not having that much capacity as the other students, and they're lagging behind. It will be a great way to bridge the learning gaps, especially now. We are saying that 2 years of COVID and certain students have lagged behind. Think of creating an online course for them, which they can access and overcome all those gaps that might have been formed during these 2 years. So ICT helps you in providing a lot of strength to that first pillar of NEP 2020, and that is access. Let's look at the second pillar. The second pillar is equity. Look at this graphic, and this graphic explains the difference between equality and equity. In school or in college, very often we stick to equality. We treat everybody same. Yes, you should treat everybody same, correct? But we give everybody also the same amount of resources. And we expect them to reach to the same height. If you look at this graphic, the three people here have a difference in their height. Of course, this is only representational. It is very easy for this person here on the extreme right to be able to access these fruits. But what about this student who has some kind of a limitation and cannot access these fruits? Here comes the necessity for equity. Equity means the person who needs extra support should be given some extra support. The person who does not need that extra support, fair enough, you give him those limited number of resources. We give this extra support to this person so that all can access the fruits with equal ease. And that is equity in knowledge. So ICT can help you to achieve this equity in knowledge by providing, say, multilingual resources. We have textbooks nowadays which are multilingual. So while you can see a textbook maybe in the language of the school that you're attending, you can also have a parallel translation in your own language to help you understand better. So these kind of resources provide equity in knowledge. Equity is also needed for people who might have some kind of a learning difficulty. Such people can be helped with, say, captioning devices. We are all aware of captioning devices. If you look at YouTube and you just click on that CC tab, you will see that whatever the speaker is speaking is available there for you in the text form. So person who might have some issue with hearing, or a person who might have some issue with the accent of the speaker, they can make use of captioning devices. We have speech to text software for those who may have a writing difficulty, those who may have dysgraphia. Braille writers, e-readers are all examples of assistive technology that ICT can provide. Similarly, interactive boards will help you to provide equity in knowledge. Some of you must be also using this if you're using ICT in your classrooms, if your classrooms are ICT enabled, then having inbuilt assessment using, say, platforms like Nearpod, where you can have, or Edpuzzle is another example. It is your PowerPoint presentation, but at the right spot, you have stopped your PowerPoint presentation and you have put in a question or a small MCQ. Only when the student answers that, the student can go ahead. So it ensures that the learner is active. We used to talk of programmed learning in the past. This is a kind of programmed learning where the student can be tested at every step and then only the student can go forward with that presentation. So such kind of assistive technology also helps you to bring about equity in education. Let's come to the third pillar, quality. What is the use of teaching, completing the entire syllabus, maybe even giving an examination and getting very good percentage, pass percentage for your school, but if it is devoid of quality? Quality education must be cross-disciplinary. And I think this point was amply emphasized by Milind sir when he said that we tend to have a blinkered view. We tend to look at things from only one discipline. And if I say, okay, I've got my background of chemistry and I know nothing of any other subject, that will not do in the world of today. So ensuring cross-disciplinary approach or having multimodal approaches to learning will bring about quality in learning. Gone are those days when a teacher could say that, oh, I'm a history teacher, please don't ask me anything about geography. You cannot afford to do this. Your textbooks, your content itself is multidisciplinary, and therefore, for good quality, cross-disciplinary multimodal approaches are a must. Sir touched upon this, that is national professional standards for teachers. All those who are teachers here, all those who are teachers to be, I will advise you that go through these national professional standards for teachers. Earlier it was okay, you entered in as an assistant teacher or you entered in as a school teacher, and by the time you retired also, you were a teacher only. This will be replaced according to NEP. The National Professional Standards for Teachers are being advocated, where you will have levels of teachers: beginner teacher, Pragmi Shikshak, proficient teacher, Praveen Shikshak, expert teacher, Kushal Shikshak, and a lead teacher or a Pramukh Shikshak. And this need not be based on your tenure. You may be in the profession for 3 years, but suppose you show the skills of moving from one level to the other, your school will be very happy to promote you from one level to the other. Of course, provided you have completed certain criteria, provided you have exhibited certain kind of skills. Such kind of teachers can then lead others. And this has got nothing to do with your age. It has got nothing to do with your tenure. It only has got to do with what output you are showing in the class. So for having such kind of quality in teaching, for generating quality teachers, surely ICT is going to provide much of inputs. I'll share with you one example. By the way, continuous professional development for teachers is going to be compulsory with NEP being rolled out. This means every school teacher will undergo 50 hours of professional development. Right now, what you're doing is a kind of professional development. So throughout the year, you will be expected to go in for 50 such hours of continuous professional development. And these courses could be, or these programs could be organized by your own institution, or they could be organized, say, by an organization, maybe a teacher education college. I'll give you one example. A few days ago, I took a session on just the beginnings, the basics of artificial intelligence for my first year B.Ed students. And then I just told them about the CBSE website. If you go to the CBSE website, you have got one place there where it is AI for all, artificial intelligence for all. So the lecture that I gave them was just a basic lecture. But I encouraged my students to go in for this AI for all course. It's a 4-hour course maximum. And students completed that course and immediately they were given 2 badges. One was AI awareness and one was AI appreciate. So I just displayed the certificate of one of my students who got this certificate after completing the 4-hour program. This is an example of continuous professional development for teachers. Many a time we are unaware of what is available to us, and all this is available free of cost. So please make use of portals like the CBSE. This is part of India's Digital India initiative. There are 9 pillars under Digital India, and under that, one of the things is education. How can ICT boost education? So I would advise all teachers to someday go through the CBSE site And it's irrespective. You may be in a state board school, you may be in ICSE, whatever school. Anybody can do this course, and there may be many such courses coming. Perhaps you can also go someday to the CIET site, Central Institute of Educational Technology. And every month end, they have 4 to 5 days of professional development for teachers. You can attend those YouTube lectures. They are at a very convenient time, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, every month end. And once you finish that and you do their little quiz based on those 4 to 5 sessions, you are given a certificate saying that you have completed so and so course with so much % of marks. So I would advise all teachers to go into such kind of opportunities which are available to us all under our Ministry of Education. So this was our third pillar, ICT for quality. ICT for affordability. Yes, we talk of education, but we talk of ICT, but ICT should also be affordable. And many of you must be thinking, okay, ma'am, you're talking of such things, but we cannot afford it maybe. ICT ensures affordability. For example, buying a textbook, a simple textbook, will cost you nothing less than 150 to 200 rupees. But going through OERs, open education resources, you will find plenty of these OERs that are there. There are worldwide. OER Commons, for example, is a global body. But even within our country, we have got many OERs which are created. And these OERs can be revised, they can be reused. These are the 5 R's of OERs. You can retain it. A library book, after 1 week, you have to return it. But an OER, which is a digital resource, you can keep it forever. You can reuse it. And as many times as you want, you can reuse it. You can revise it according to the license, of course. Some of them may not allow you to revise, but you can revise, you can tweak it, you can adjust it according to your students. You can remix. Let us say you have got one OER and another OER. You can combine the two together. You can redistribute it. So this is something that has revolutionized education in the past decade or so. This makes education very affordable, and OERs is a boon from ICT. Look at this example. A student of mine was taking a virtual tour of the Taj. So she had to be teaching the students Indian architecture. She wanted to teach them about the Taj. While the NEP talks of 10 bagless days, that also Sir emphasized. It should be used to say go around, look at various occupations, maybe go and visit places of interest. This can be done within your locality. But what if it comes to visiting some place which is very far, which you cannot easily access? In that case, if you cannot go there physically, of course, going there physically is the best option. But if you cannot go there physically, then going there on a virtual tour is so nice. And let me take this opportunity to just take you on a virtual tour of a place. So let me just shift my tabs. I'll take you on a virtual tour to the Taj. So this is from Google Arts. Okay. So we will go to the Taj. I'm sure you can see my screen right now. Cinderella, can you just give me a yes? Cinderella or anybody?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. So we are right now on a virtual tour of the Taj. This, my dear friends, is from artsandculture.google.com, where you can go and virtually visit different places. So what is a virtual visit? It is not just going there, but exploring it from all angles. For example, here we are on the top of the Taj, and I can actually get a 360-degree view. I can actually get a 360-degree view. I can look at what the minarets are like. I can see what the dome is like. Okay, then you can, let's go down further. Let's explore the Taj still further. So here you are, you have got, if you go to the Taj, then on one side you have got a mosque, and in the center is the Taj, right? So you can even explore, you can even see the present situation. I think when we personally go there, Nobody will allow you to go to the first floor, etc. Perhaps. So you can actually see it from places which are otherwise inaccessible. You can see the Yamuna at the back, right? That's the river Yamuna at the back. So you can follow these arrows. You can follow these arrows and you can explore different facets of all those monuments which are on Google Arts and Culture artsandculture.google.com. That's the name of the site. Or take this view, for example. So in this manner, you can explore different monuments. Some of you must have, like this is from the masjid, the mosque, which is on one side of the Taj. You can see the red sandstone. If you're physically there, sometimes your tour operator just gives you 1 hour to explore. Here you can sit and explore for as long as you want. And in this manner, one can go to different such kind of monuments. One can also have a look at virtual laboratories. I'm sure many of you must be looking at, you must be already using virtual laboratories. You must have used things like OLabs, etc. Is my PPT visible now, Cinderella?
Yes, ma'am, you're back to that.
Yeah, back to the thing. Okay. So this can make education very affordable. And all these are free of cost. Compare it with the cost of actually visiting a place. Of course, if the place is very much in your vicinity, you should physically visit it. But otherwise, virtual labs, virtual visits of these kind will help in making education more meaningful. We come next to the next pillar of ICT. We spoke about equity, we spoke about affordability, we spoke about access. Now here is ICT in ensuring accountability. We have e-governance being practiced. Your website, for example, is an example of e-governance of your institution. So it gives everybody, anybody interested in your school, your parents, your students, your alumni, they can all get an idea of what's happening. So ICT helps in ensuring accountability. There can be seamless integration across various departments. Say if there is a small school and you are collaborating with another school. Sir spoke about clusters and such kind of school complexes will be heard of more in the days to come. So let us say within a radius of say 5 to 10 kilometers, you are about 5 schools and you are in one cluster. You may not physically go and visit that school to know what exactly they are doing or what resources they have created, but you can be sharing these kind of resources, of course, using ICT, and thus you can make your education more accountable. It is envisioned that one of the 9 pillars of Digital India, which is e-Kranti, they talk of connecting schools with broadband. Maybe this has not yet come out with full force, but we do hope in the days to come, schools will be connected with broadband and help us share our resources. So teachers, instead of every teacher from every school creating a resource, if good resources, good quality resources are shared, remember I spoke about the different levels of teachers. So if there are teachers who are who have got many years of experience or a lot of, let us say, ICT experience, and they're good at creating such kind of resources, they can help to share them with others. That makes our education more accountable. This is something that is more related to undergraduate education, not to up to class 12, beyond class 12, but worth knowing, because at some stage or the other, we are all going to be talking of this. The NEP talks of academic bank of credits, and it's already rolled out. It is already rolled out. This academic bank of credits will be very useful in the years to come. For example, Delhi University, from this year, they are starting their 4-year undergraduate program. And we expect that in the times to come, other universities will also follow suit. Now, it is, don't get this thought in your mind that, oh, I did a 3-year undergraduate program. Don't tell me now BA or BSc is going to be 4 years. That's optional. 3 years, yes. But if you want to do a 4th year with research, you are welcome to do a 4th year with research. And that can even give you a direct leeway to doing your doctorate. So after 4 years of undergraduate program, you can directly move on to research. Or if you wish, you can continue with your master's. or you can directly move on to the PhD program. It says the 4th year will be dedicated mostly to research. And there this academic bank of credits is going to play an important role. Now, suppose you are in institution A, and let us say when I joined institution A, these were my subjects that I took. We are already in the credit-based system. We know that. So every semester of your undergraduate exam course, you will be expected to do minimum 20 to 22 credits. So this is an example. I've just taken a hypothetical example. Let us say I take chemistry for 4 credits, but I also like literature, and that I'll take for 4 credits. Let's say I take a 2 credit course in artificial intelligence, a 2 credit course in finance, a 4 credit course in mathematics, and a 4 credit course in physics, and that will give me a total of 20 credits for my semester 1. But let us say at the end of semester 1, due to some reason, I want to move to another institution, because maybe that institution got certain subjects, certain courses, which my institution A is not offering. Or let us say I'm relocating to a new place after semester 1. Whatever be the reasons, or for whatever reasons you want to move from institution A to institution B, you can do it taking these 20 credits that you have got from institution A. These 20 credits, your institution A has to deposit it in your name, of course, in the academic bank of credits. It will be verified by your institution A that student so and so was a student of ours. This student has taken these 20 credits. This is the performance of that student in these subjects. The student was here from so and so to so and so, month so and so, year so and so, till so and so. And now that student has moved. That student will take these credits and redeem these credits. They are not gone waste. They are redeemed in institution B. That student can continue the education in institution B. Tomorrow you want to go to institution C, you can go to institution C also. Say due to some reason, after 2 semesters or after 1 year of studying, you had to take a break for some reason. No worries, no worries. Whatever credits you have got from your semester 1 and 2 are there in your academic bank of credits. After 1 year, you decide to come back. After 2 years, you decide to come back. You will take those credits and move ahead. So this is the beauty of the academic bank of credits. And this is already functional. Many institutions are part of the academic bank of credits. Slowly, all institutions will have to be part of this so that this transfer of credits from one institution to the other becomes easy. So institution B has no need to contact institution A. Institution B just goes and sees what is in the academic bank of credits account of student so and so, and the full idea, like a transcript, is got, and we can decide to give admission to that student and allow the student to continue the education from there. So this makes this is where ICT is bringing in accountability in education. I'm now talking about certain emerging technologies which are called as disruptive technologies. When we use this word disruptive, it's not disruption, it is not destructive, mind you. It's something that has changed the face of the world. Take, for example, your simple mobile. With the mobile in your hand, I'm sure the wristwatch has gone. Your alarm clock is somewhere in some room, right? You're not using it any longer. Your camera, you have given up on your camera. So one mobile has replaced so many other gadgets. Such a kind of technology is called as a disruptive technology. And these disruptive technologies, emerging technologies, are coming up day by day. You will recognize this is Sophia the robot, and she's also a citizen.
Ma'am?
Yes, hello.
Your PPT is not going ahead, ma'am.
Okay,
We are still on a virtual.
Okay, I will. 1 minute. I was still on virtual this thing. Okay, fine. So
That's slide 7, number 7. Slide
okay,
number 7.
I will.
From there on.
I will. Yes, I will. I spoke about academic bank of credits, but I will. Sometimes it gets stuck, maybe. Okay, Cinderella, accountability is visible. ICT in ensuring accountability.
Yes, now it is visible.
Sorry. So this is what I spoke about.
Ma'am, but it's not on slideshow mode again.
It's not on slideshow mode. Yes, Cinderella now, accountability, ICT in ensuring.
No.
No?
That's slide is there, but it's not on slideshow mode, ma'am.
Okay, it's not on slideshow mode. Okay, then shall I just show it this way? That's not.
Yeah, that's okay, ma'am. You can just increase the size
size.
of the slide.
Let me just try once. Cinderella? Hello?
It's not going on slideshow. You can just increase the size from down there, percentage.
Yeah,
And then I
can
think
do
we can
that.
go ahead.
Yeah. Fine. Is this better, Cinderella?
You're not sharing, ma'am, right now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Is that fine, Cinderella?
Ma'am.
I
Yes,
think
it's fine. Yeah, it's
yeah.
visible also. Yeah.
Fine. So we have this academic bank of credits that I spoke about. This is where you will be able to redeem your credits from one to the other. I was talking of disruptive technologies, and disruptive technologies are something where you can, you're just shaken out of a very comfortable zone, perhaps, that you were in. And these kind of disruptive technologies, like you must have heard of Sophia, the robo, and she is also a citizen of Saudi Arabia. If you hear Sophia talking, you will wonder whether it is a human who is doing this talking. So these kind of technologies are going to become more and more common in the days to come. I will share with you, I will show you certain examples of how disruptive technologies have already made their entry into education. What I'm showing you now are examples which are not basically from an app I'm showing you, and this app is being used widely all the world over. So we'll just take we'll take this case of augmented reality textbook. So this is an augmented reality textbook by Rupa. Rupa is an app. Certain part of it is free. You can download that app on your mobile, and certain part of it you will be able to see without payment. Certain things are of course paid features. I'll just show you this case of I have muted the sound so that because there's only music. Here is a textbook, and this textbook that you have got is a textbook that talks about, it's in German. It's a textbook that talks about eclipses. And you can see here the two-dimensional diagram. You can see how the two-dimensional diagram is being converted through a three-dimensional figure. You can see this. So this is just a two-dimensional picture that you have in your books. And this book is somebody's mic on in the meet. Hello. Yeah. So this two-dimensional figure, if you keep your device, the device is below the device is being used here to access the app Rupa, and whatever pictures are there are being seen by the child in 3D form. So when we talk of eclipses, it is very difficult to show it in a picture form or in the form of a figure. Here also you can see how light travels through this tube. So the picture is being converted into a 3D graphic, which will make learning so much more easier. Or here is an example of total internal reflection that you have. This one, I'll just take it a little back. In our textbook, everything is two-dimensional and flat. But using this app, you can see how the entire thing gets converted into a 3D form. So such kind of apps are available, and these apps are surely going to be changing the entire face of education in the days to come. Another thing that is very interesting is the use of robotics that will probably make an entry into classroom. I'll share with you two case studies that we have got here. The first one is of this child. This child you can see in this picture is a girl, Emily. Now, Emily she is a cancer patient, and she used to have difficulty going to class because in case of Emily, she was undergoing chemotherapy. And because of chemotherapy, when she would go back to class, she would pick up infections. Her whole immune system was poor. So therefore, Emily doesn't go to class. This is Emily's robo. And the name of this robo is Emily Bot. So Emily Bot goes to class. You can see in this picture here, the bot, the robo is sitting in class in Emily's place. And what is Emily doing? Emily is at home with an iPad. And this robo is connected to her iPad. So with the help of that iPad, she can see whatever is happening in class. She can hear her teacher. If she has to ask a doubt, she has to just click on her iPad and the robo will start blinking. It has a camera to take the lessons live. It can also give a hint or a signal to the teacher, I have a doubt. So Emily is sitting at home, controlling her robo with the help of her iPad. The robo starts blinking. She will type a question on her iPad, or maybe she will speak it aloud, and the teacher can hear the question and answer aloud. Suppose Emily wants to express happiness. Let's say there's a joke cracked and the entire class is laughing. Emily also can laugh through the robo, of course. If she doesn't want to disturb, she just wants to talk to her neighbor. She has got that application also. The iPad will allow her even that. In this manner, Emily participated in every class activity, but not physically. There was a proxy. Emily's proxy, the robo was sitting in class, and the entire sessions she was attending from home. She used to have a lot of difficulty having her food because no appetite, etc. So what the teacher would do was, when the school children were having their lunch break, Emily would sit among the friends and her friends would goad Emily. Emily, eat something. And Emily would be encouraged to eat even though she had no appetite. So her parents found this very, very, it was a very rewarding experience. And they were happy that the socialization that she was missing was made up for through this robo. Here's another example of a child. This is Finn. And Finn had a brain tumor. Here is Finn sitting in his home. He could not attend school because of his brain tumor, but his bot, his robo, went into class. And here is Finn with his iPad, getting to know whatever is happening in class, studies, not just studies. You can see this second picture here, and you can see the kids are playing football. And here is the robo sitting with his friends. And through the robo, Finn is enjoying the football game. Here is Finn's teacher. The robo was taken even to visit the zoo. So you have this picture of the robo with the gorillas there. And Finn is sitting, the child with the brain tumor, is sitting in his home and watching the gorillas through the eyes of his robo. Of course, one thought must have come to the minds of many people that what about the cost of this? This would be something that is very expensive. Yeah, it is costly at present. It is around 3 lakhs, just that one robo. But what schools abroad have done is they have invested in 3-4 such robos. And any child who is undergoing such kind of extensive treatment can take that robo, use it for say 7-8 months, 1 year, as long as the treatment is going on. So it is lent, it is given for some time period to the students. There are companies also which are sponsoring this. So at present it may be expensive, but I guess in the course of time to come, such kind of gadgets will become cheaper, and that is how ICT can help in providing equity. Let me now take you to another very interesting tab. You must have all heard of chatbots. And very often when we are on some website and all, a chatbot comes up and a chatbot wants to talk to us. Right now, chatbots are used for chatting. To a great extent, they are used for shopping and other such kind of experiences. Here is Cookie. When you all are free, you all can try chatting with Cookie. Cookie.ai. That's the name of the site. So I'll just show you few examples of. Remember, Cookie is not a person there. I'm going to be chatting with a robo. This is artificial intelligence in play. So I'm going to talk to Cookie. So let me just ask Cookie a few questions. I've chatted with her before. I'll sign in with my Google account. You can just sign with your Google account and you can chat with Cookie. She's not an educational robot, but imagine having such a robot for education and how it can help children. So here, now for example, let me start. I'll say, hi, Cookie. So when I say hi, Cookie, immediately Cookie's answer is there. Hi there, Cynthia. Okay, so that's the name that I'm more familiar, commonly known as. So Cookie said hi to me. Let me ask Cookie for the recipe, some recipe. Cookie, how do we make, let us say, pav bhaji? Okay, I'm just asking Cookie for the recipe of pav bhaji. Okay, the spelling of pav bhaji was wrong. She's saying, not sure, I was not that creative. Okay, I'll ask her pav bhaji recipe. Let's see whether she answers this time. Okay, so she says she's thinking of adding it. Let me ask something what is more familiar. I need to make some pasta. So let's see what she says. And she's saying, oh, thank you for my feedback. Okay, she's not ready to answer my questions. Okay, I'll ask her for the weather in Bhopal. I'll ask her for the weather in Bhopal. Let's see whether Cookie can answer. It seems she chats with you very much like, okay, yeah. Now, this definitely cannot be a human being at the other end, okay? This is artificial intelligence. And she's telling me everything about the weather in Bhopal. Let me ask her for the weather in Mumbai. And of course, you do this on Alexa and all your other. Yeah, so there immediately the weather in Mumbai for the next 7 days. Suppose we ask her a question. What is artificial intelligence? Now, all this is data driven. No human being can type at this speed and give them information to me so soon. I'll ask her a question like, Cookie, what are you good at? Let us see what she says. So she immediately tells me, I can chat with you and keep you company. I can tell jokes, stories, poems, etc., whatever she can do. So she immediately gives me about that. If I say, Cookie, I am feeling sad. Let me see what she says to that. I said, Cookie, I'm feeling sad. And she says, okay, bring out the clowns. We've got a sad one here. Why are you sad, Cynthia? Suppose I say, I have a cold. So these are chat box. And these chat box, she's telling me, I hope you feel better soon, Cynthia. It's not nice for humans to have colds. Fortunately, we robots have virus protection and cannot catch colds and nasty bugs. My dear friends, what I did right now was just giving you an idea of how quick robots can be to answer our queries. They are all data driven. So when there's a lot of data put in, meaningful data put in, then that kind of data gets converted to their answers. The more meaningful data you put in, the more experiences your robot has, the better will be the output. And we look at such kind of things in University of Georgia. Right now, they have a teaching assistant who is a robot. An entire subject, an entire course is taught by a robot. This may sound like science fiction to us here today, but I say in the next few years, this may be realities. Let me just continue with further where we stopped the PPT. So yes, so we were talking of such kind of changes that we expect. We spoke to Cookie. Now, where does that bring us, or what does NEP tell us? NEP tells us that we will soon have a National Educational Technology Forum, a forum where we will look at how ICT can be used to help us in all these areas, that is learning, assessment, planning, etc. It will advise governments on how technology can be blended meaningfully, seamlessly in education. It will also help us to have institutions that are more ICT driven. The question is, we are in a world where ICT is dominating already. And even Sir spoke about this. Are we ready for jobs? Sir spoke about it from the school level. When you take your students out and take them to the mall, they are watching people in different jobs. They are looking at different professions. The same thing when they come to undergraduate level, when they come after class 12, there is the need to skill, reskill, and de-skill, keeping in mind that technologies are changing. So right when they are in their undergraduate level, we want students to look at their subject in relation to ICT, their subject in relation to new technologies. And here, higher education will be expected to have such kind of courses. Like, for example, artificial intelligence with X. What is X? I'll show you in another example. So we are expected to have courses which are more profession driven, which are more vocation driven. So it will not be just learning. Like, for example, when I have done my BSc and Masters in chemistry. But if you ask me, if you put me into a chemical industry, I'll be a zero there. I know nothing. I do not know. Like, we had an entire paper, drugs and dyes. But if you ask me to make an actual drug, if you ask me to make an actual medicine, I'll be a zero there. That is because of lack of practical exposure. So now undergraduate courses will be expected to have such kind of a professional slant, a vocational slant. Here is a beautiful example of how school students, mind you, school students, they have seen problems around them and they have integrated ICT, they have integrated technology to come up with solutions. This is an idea from students from Diu and Daman. And there were students who used to cross a garbage tin and the garbage used to be overflowing and stinking. So they came up with this idea. When the garbage tin is filled, when the bin is filled up to a certain level, immediately the alarm will be sent, the message will be sent to the municipality authorities that so and so bin at so and so place is filled, come and empty it. So you can see two bins there, one for biodegradable, one for non-biodegradable waste, and the municipality gets a message as soon as the bin gets filled up to a preset level. This was invented by class 9 students. This is the product of design thinking. You see a difficulty, you see an impediment, you use that as you leverage that. There is a difficulty, there will be a solution. There is a problem, there will be a solution. And they came up with this solution. This is what schools are expected to be in future. NEP supports such kind of thinking. Here is another example of a student from a school in New Delhi. And this is where perhaps the student saw some elderly person in the house, always forgetful, not remembering to take his or her medicines on time. Sometimes the person gets lost, goes somewhere roaming and does not find the way home. Here is a walking stick. In the hands of that person is a walking stick, as you can see. And this walking stick is ICT enabled. It is a walking stick which can count the steps of the person. It can remind the person of medicine. You have not taken your medicine. It is 12 o'clock now. You have to take so-and-so medicine. It can locate the person. So if the person has lingered away from his locality, it can send a message to the home people that grandpa is gone so-and-so place, or if the home people are searching for him, then through GPS system, you can locate where that person has gone. There's an emergency alarm. Let's say the person has gone too far away from his home. Then there's an emergency alarm. The person also can ring an emergency alarm if required. Let's say the person is in proper senses, and let us say the person is attacked by somebody. So there's an emergency alarm. There's a fall detector. So if the person falls, then there will be immediately a message sent to the relatives. So and so person has fallen. There's a torch. All this done by a class 10 student from Delhi. This is the kind of innovation that we are talking about. These kind of experiments are most supported by the NEP. I want to just conclude with, so what I want to say is we'll leave some time for questions and queries. We just have enough time for that. I have certain quotes for you, because certain things that might be in your mind will be, are we trying to replace teachers? If ICT is going to take over so many things, of course, the automated tasks, repetitive tasks, like attendance, or let us say creation of report cards, or just finding out how many students fall between this age group, that age group. These kind of repetitive tasks can definitely be taken over by ICT, leaving the teacher with more time for, let us say, creative work. There is no fear that teachers will be replaced, I don't think. But if you're a bad teacher, yes, ICT may replace a bad teacher. I have 4 quotes here, and I want to leave you with reflection on these quotes. One is, I don't use ICT in my classroom because it's a buzzword or a trend. I use it because connecting my kids with the world will prepare them for the future. Those of us who have a fear, we are not doing it for fashion's sake. We are not doing because it's a trend. We are talking ICT because this is the world of the future. Technology will not replace great teachers, so don't fear. If you're a good teacher, you won't be replaced. But technology in the hand of great teachers will definitely be transformational. Technology is not just a tool in terms of getting the kids working together and motivating them. The teacher is the most important, and that comes from Bill Gates himself. Technology alone isn't going to improve student achievement. What we need is the best combination is where great teachers working with technology will help to engage students in the pursuit of learning that they need. So all these quotes, and this is my belief also, I don't think technology can replace a good teacher, but it can always help a good teacher to become better. And that's what we hope for. So NEP 2020, with its focus on the 5 pillars of access, equity, affordability, etc., all this is talking about using of ICT. There's a lot of focus given to ICT in the entire document, but it has to be used very wisely. And as Milind sir had so rightly pointed out, without losing focus on our value system. Once we are only, if we do not take that value system into mind, all the great values that we stand for, truth, respect for everybody, all these value systems that we have always stood for should never be out of our sight. So a very good blend of values, our traditional knowledge, our ITK, indigenous technical knowledge systems that we have, along with something modern and contemporary like ICT, is definitely going to leverage us into a shining star in the knowledge economy. So we have got 5 minutes or so for queries. So if there are queries coming up, I would like to take them on. And meanwhile, I will also have a look at the queries on the YouTube. So any queries, those who are on our Google Meet, you can unmute yourself and ask your query in short. Others, you can post your queries on, one second, just let me turn up the volume here, 1 second. Hello? Yes, any queries? You can either type them in your chat box. Yes, Ravi Prakash says that teachers' honor and importance will always remain as the sun shines always. Yes, Ravi Prakash, I saw your comment on YouTube, and that's absolutely right. Nobody can replace a good teacher. Any queries? Right, Cinderella, any queries coming up there?
No, ma'am, no. I'm just checking, but there are no queries. There are some comments written for your session.
Yeah, the comments I got, yes. Yes, there's a query from Lokesh who says, how can ICT tool be useful in rural area because of lack of infrastructure and quality teacher? Yes, Lokesh, let me tell you, I'm speaking from a place which is rural. I'm not speaking from Mumbai. My place is some 50 kilometers away from Mumbai, where Electricity still great issues, network are also great issues, and there is, I mean, it may not be as bad as some other places. So infrastructure there, when you say digital infrastructure can help greatly, digital infrastructure will help you greatly. It's one of the pillars of the digital India that we talk about. E-Kranti. You look at digital India, look at the 9 pillars, and E-Kranti is talking of bringing about broadband in remote villages also. Sir, definitely, Lokesh, sir, there will be improvement. I am talking of 20 years, 23 years ago, sir, when to make one phone call on one mobile, we had to spend 8 rupees and all that for a 1 minute call. And not very long ago, 20 years ago. Today, our mobile calls are free. We can talk to any part of the world, and it is so easy. So let us be hopeful. Even in the villages and all, such changes will come. Yes, a lot of onus is on the government to do this with immediacy, especially in the villages. Where quality teachers are concerned, sir, whether we are in a village or whether we are in urban setup, I must say some of our Indian villages have got the best quality teachers, which maybe even urban areas may not have. We have read of things like, in Bihar and all, where we have got teachers who are capable of, where students are learning under them and getting into very prestigious institutions. Or in Maharashtra, we have one icon in the form of Ranjit Singh Disle, who lives in a remote village and where he used ICT to revolutionize education. So, Sir Lokesh, sir, I hope I answered your question. Infrastructure with government help, hopefully this comes soon. And where quality teacher is concerned, आप कहाँ से हो इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. दिल में सिर्फ एक ख्वाहिश होनी चाहिए. We should just have the passion that yes, I can be a quality teacher, and I think that will greatly help. I hope I answered your question, Lokesh, sir. Yes, any more queries? Yes, Ravi Prakash Jain. There are many dedicated teachers in remote areas, and that is really a blessing to us. Yes. Yes. Any more queries? If not, I think, Cinderella, it's time to wind up this session and leave in time for the next person.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Riya.
Learning together, even when we are apart, is an absolute. We have learned how ICT.
Riya, you're
can
not
help
audible, Riya. You're not audible.
Am I audible now? Am I audible, ma'am? Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, Riya.
Okay. Sorry. Learning together, even when we are apart, is an absolute goal of India's education system. And today, we have learned how ICT can help transform and usher a vibrant educational society. In today's era,
Riya, we
we all
can't hear you.
succumb.
Riya, just leave the meet and join back.
Yeah, sure. Am I audible now?
Yes, now you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
It happens. No problem.
Learning together, even when we are apart, is an absolute goal of India's education system. And today, we have learned how ICT can help transform vibrant educational society. In today's era, we all succumb to the superficial race of knowledge and information, and thus, easy access and open learning is necessary. And that is where the role of NEP comes forward. I am sure we will all agree upon how crucial the National Education Policy 2020 and its fundamentals are for the education system of India. As ma'am mentioned in her talk, we are often unaware of the various privileges available to us. Thus, thanks ma'am for making us aware of the same. NEP 2020 is truly a new vision that our country needs to acquire, and to shed some more light on the same, Professor Dr. Agnes de Costa is here with us today. I would like to extend my humble gratitude to Dr. Costa for sharing her insights with us. It has truly been an honor to have you here with us, ma'am. Your ideas and views about restructuring education and quality enhancement has definitely made us think about the two domains as a collaborative aspect in a positive way. I'd like to thank you on the behalf of our respected principal, Sister Dr. Tanuja Wagmali of St. Teresa's, for inspiring and empowering us. I would also like to thank you on the behalf of Bhopal School of Social Sciences and their respected principal, Father Dr. John PJ, for enlightening us with your expertise. I would now ask Dr. Seema Yadav from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences to carry forward the session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So good afternoon to all present here in the virtual meeting gathering. I, Seema Yadav, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, welcome you all in the third session of the National Webinar on National Education Policy 2020, Reconstructing Education for Quality Enhancement, jointly organized by St. Teresa's Institute of Education, Mumbai, and the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, Bhopal. For the third session of the national webinar, we have among us Professor Dr. Gyanendra Nath Tiwari, Professor, Department of Teacher Education, Nagaland University, Kohima Campus, Nagaland. Professor Gyanendra Nath Tiwari sir is university merit holder in his PG degree, MSc Chemistry, and MEd gold medalist in University of Allahabad. He is UGC Care Net in Education and DPhil Education. He is having the teaching experience of more than 21 years for teaching in UG and PG levels. Under his guidance, 8 PhD scholars have been awarded their PhD degrees and 4 are getting his guidance in their doctoral degrees. Admiring his professional contribution in the field of education, I would like to inform you all that Professor Gyanendra Tiwari sir is associated with NIOS, NCERT, IGNO, Commonwealth of Learning, Swayam Prabha Channel, Swayam Digital Platform, MIT Academic Staff College, and various universities. Professor Tiwari is member of various committees, visiting team member of NCT, resource person, expert, and examiner. Professor Tiwari is member of academic bodies of MIT University, Uttar Pradesh, presently associated with DRC, Board of Professional Studies, School Board, Board of Studies, and different other committees of different universities. I would like to share with you all that Professor Tiwari has been awarded by Laloji Deraval Gold Medal in 2001 by University of Allahabad, Shri Shikshak Gaurav Samman 2020 and National Excellence Award in 2021 for innovative practices in education. Professor Tiwari has published 14 books, in which 1 from international publisher and 13 from national publisher. He has published 36 research papers in national and international journals, and I should say, yes, published 15 chapters in edited books. He has presented so many chapters, so many papers in national and international conferences and seminars. Professor Tiwari is a member of International Advisory Board of European Academic Research, Romania, and IATE. Associate Professor in Jyotirmay Journal of Educational Research, Editor-in-Chief of International Journal of Educational Psychology. Professor Tiwari having a very rich research profile here as I'm reading continuously, but at the same time, he's having active involvement in Hindi poetry writing. So nice to read it, sir. So Tiwari sir, I should say that you are an academician, a teacher educator with professional excellence, and you have a very creative and innovative side of yours also. So yes, sir, I welcome you to share your words of wisdom with all of us. We are here to listen to you. Over to you, Tiwari sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible properly?
Yes, sir, you are.
So thank you, Dr. Seema. Basically, we all are teachers, and the topic assigned to me is that what kind of reforms there are you can observe in teacher education after this NEP 2020. So I think everyone knows that the teacher has three loves. If you agree, there are three love for teacher. One, love for learning. Then second, love for learners. And third, the love for bringing the first two loves together. So basically, a teacher should love the process of learning as well as the teacher should love the learners. And that is the spirit of teacher education. So I think everyone is very much aware about the kind of reforms that is going in NEP 2020. So I will share some points related to this teacher education reforms. So just I'm sharing my screen to you people. I hope it is visible to you.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. So before I start speaking about my topic, I just want to know from you all that what is expected from a teacher, or what you expect that the position of teacher should be like that, because the question arises in mind of everyone that why the teachers are not getting that much of respect and appreciation that is actually required. I joined here in Nagaland University, Kohima, and I was surprised to observe the kind of respect the people of this community having for the teacher is extraordinary. But since I worked in many universities, and this is the fifth institute I'm working, I found that there's a deterioration in the respect of teachers. So, what position you want to what the position should teacher have in the society? Any one of you, you can just speak about your views. What position the teacher should have? You can just write in the chat box or just message me. Am I not audible?
Audible, sir.
So I'm not finding any response from anyone.
Yeah. Please reply, participants. Please reply in the chat box. Humble request to each one of you.
What is the status of teacher? What kind of status of teacher should be there in the society? Anyone? I think it is a very easy question. See, any kind of this presentation or discourse will be only fruitful when you just try to interact with the expert. Yes, a high position with respect and honor. Very good. Okay, no issue. So I will just continue with my presentation. And as you can see, what is expected, that teacher must be at the center of fundamental reforms of education system. I think everyone must be agree with this thing. You can't see when you are talking about the NEP, is it possible to implement NEP without the active involvement of the teacher? No, it is impossible. So the first most important thing is that the teacher must be at the center of all the educational reforms. So this is to be taken care of. Then the second, this new policy must help. This is the expectation from the policy that this policy must help to re-establish the teachers at all levels, as you mentioned, as the most respected and essential member of society, because they truly shape our next generation of citizens. So this is the expectation from this NEP 2020, that it will re-establish the teachers, their respect, right? Then this policy must do everything to empower teachers and help them to do their job as effectively as possible. So the empowering teacher is very much important. When you use the term empowering, it means you are talking about someone who is having a little bit less power. When you talk about the women empowerment, it means you just assume that women are not so much powerful. Similarly, we are talking about the teacher empowerment. It means that there are some views that teacher is not so much empowered. So from this NEP 2020, we want that teacher must be empowered. And the next thing is that this new education policy must recruit best and brightest to enter the teaching profession at all levels. So this is one of the basic thing that I always keep talking. Why? Because people from different field come to the teaching profession only because they are not getting job in some other profession. And whenever I start teaching in B.Ed classes, I ask the first question to every student that what is the reason for choosing this B.Ed program. And you will be surprised to know that many of them came to this profession, to this program, because of other reason. They were not willing to become a teacher. So that is one of the challenge with this NEP 2020. I think everyone must be agree, because you all are running B.Ed colleges, and definitely there are many students who are very good and they love teaching. But there are many who don't want to come to become a teacher. So this policy must help recruit very best and brightest to enter the teaching profession at all level. So how you can ensure this? To ensure livelihood, respect, dignity and autonomy, while also instilling in the system basic methods of quality control and accountability. So this is the expectations from this NEP 2020. Now, what NEP 2020 says, I think everyone is aware about all these things, that NEP 2021 says that teachers truly shape the future of our children, and therefore, the future of our nation, the motivation and the empowerment of teachers is required to ensure the best possible future of our children and nation. So you are talking about the future of our nation, so you have to think about the future of teachers as well. And that's why NEP 2020 focuses on this. All other policies also have taken account of the importance of teacher, but there are some new things, and that we will discuss about those things. For example, I'm giving one example. I will just repeat this example in my further presentation. That according to NEP 2020, every teacher and head teacher is expected to participate in at least 50 hours of continuous professional development, and that this opportunity will be provided every year for their own professional development driven by their own interest. So this is one new thing that we can start with, that any teacher and or every teacher and every headmaster, it will be compulsory for every teacher and every headmaster to have at least 50 hours of a training program, in-service training program. It is every year, it is mandatory. So this is a new thing that you can just observe in NEP 2020. Now, what is the vision of this NEP 2020 in terms of teachers? First of all, continuous professional development is one of the basic things. So why it is required? Because it will cover all the latest pedagogy, and you know that in NEP 2020 we are talking about the foundation literacy and numeracy. So this CPD opportunities will in particular systematically cover the latest pedagogies regarding fundamental literacy and numeracy, as well as formative and adaptive assessment of learning outcome. See, earlier we were talking about the learning assessment of learning. Now we are talking about the assessment of learning outcome. So learning outcome is very much important. Then competency-based learning and related pedagogies and experiential learning, arts integrated and sports integrated and storytelling based approaches. So there are many new things. I think everyone, I was just listening the previous discussion. So we are talking about the ICT, and you know that there is very much positive and negative things about the ICT as well. Like you must experience that there was some technical glitch with one of the student. So it happens. Even it can happen with me as well. But this is a fact that we have to go with this, and it is very important to empower the teacher about the knowledge of all these things. Then, if you want to realize the vision of NEP 2020, you should try to understand that many programs are being run by NCERT, Ministry of Education, Department of Education and Literacy, then different other bodies like CBSE, KBS, anyone, and they initiated the NISTHA program. I think NISTHA program everyone knows, NISTHA training program, and that will be online, and that talks about the different stages of school education. So it is a training program for teachers, it is a training program for a master, it is a training program for other stakeholders or those who are holding different managerial positions. Now coming to our topic. I just wanted to you to just understand that these are some basic things that are the reforms that we are experiencing in NEP 2020. First of all, that it talks a lot about CPD, as we already discussed. So this CPD, continuous professional development, is very much important. Why? Because now in NEP 2020, the focus is on foundation literacy and numeracy. So it is a very important aspect of NEP 2020. So that for that purpose, the teacher must be trained. Then, when you are talking about the teacher education, so you have to think about the early grade curriculum, because now you know that a new thing, pre-primary education is more focused. They are talking about the early childhood care also. So for that also, the teacher education program can be redesigned to have emphasis on this foundation literacy and numeracy, along with the different aspect of early childhood care. Then, because we know that NEP always talks about the fact that teachers are the core of the learning process. So the most important part is that they require training in high quality content. This is focused, that the content must be very, very high quality. It is not a normal kind of teacher training program. So the content of training must be very of high quality, as well as about the new pedagogy, and that is to be done by 2030. I think everyone is aware about the new developments in the teacher education programs, that the teacher education programs it will be difficult for any college that is standalone that to run the teacher education program. So it will move to the multidisciplinary colleges and universities. So this multidisciplinarity is one of the important aspects of teacher education program, and that is to be taken care of when you are just in framing or constructing the curriculum of teacher education program. Then I think everyone is aware about the minimum degree qualification. Now it will be 4 years. So 4-year integrated program, BEd program is one of the important development. So if anyone can just reflect upon this thing, and what you think that making compulsion of the 4-year teacher training program Is it good or bad, or what you think? Any one of you? You can just message in the chat box. Anyone who want to respond? I think there are many teacher trainees as well who are doing B.Ed, so they can also respond that is it good to have 4-year teacher training program or not? And if yes, then why? So is it a difficult question or am I not audible?
You're audible, sir. Participants kindly respond. Yeah.
So this is the fact. I understand that every time teachers have to force the student to respond. So this is a very what is required, that a student should grab the opportunity to interact with any expert. So that is one thing. One response I can just get from one student, that yes, a student will get in-depth knowledge and will form a strong base. Then another response, that it will get extra insight of knowledge. The basic thing is that the people who are not willing to become a teacher, they come to this profession. So if you are aware that you have to spend 4 years, definitely you will be sure that I have to go into this profession. See, teaching is something, it requires the teachers of that kind who love the teaching. I'm just giving off my example. My father wanted to become a doctor, but I refused to become a doctor. Then he just wanted me to become IS officer. So during the process of preparation of the civil services, I started taking coaching to some engineering and medical students for chemistry, because I'm a professor of chemistry as well. So then I realized that it gives me a lot of pleasure. See, anyone who want to come to this profession must have love for this teaching profession. So for that, 4 year this program is very much required. You know that if someone wants to become a doctor, the person has to qualify NEET and go for the medical, and for 4 year training will be there. For engineer, the same thing. So why for not the teaching profession? So it is not that if you are failing in other of your professions, so you should not come to this profession. So that's why this teacher's 4 year integrated course is very much required. And it is not that it will be only 4 years. There will be 2 year and 1 year programs as well. So this is the new thing. The reform is there, that there will be 3 types of B.Ed program: 1 year, 2 year, and 4 year. 4 year for who have done the class 12th, and then they can go for the 4 year. Who have done graduation, they can go for the 2 year, and those who have done honors of 4 year graduation, then they can go for 1 year B.Ed program. So this is the 3 types of B.Ed program. It is one of the reforms. And if someone has done 4 year multidisciplinary bachelor degree, or who are having obtained a master degree in any specialty stream, they can go for the 1 year B.Ed program. So there will be 3 types of B.Ed program: 1 year, 2 year, and 4 year. Now, one more reform is there, that special shorter local teacher education program will also be available at block level, at district level, and school complexes. So shorter local teacher education program will be there, and these courses will be framed to promote local profession knowledge and skills, local art, music, agriculture, business, sports, carpentry, and other vocational crafts. For example, if I'm a professor in teacher education in Nagaland, so what I observed, that there is a lot of knowledge, indigenous knowledge available here related to the art, music, agriculture, business, carpentry, and other things also. Same thing is available in Madhya Pradesh, in other parts of the country, in other districts of the country. There are many tribal belts, there are many local goods available, local craft is available. So that is to be practiced also, and that's why this NEP 2020 proposes that there must be shorter local teacher education program with a vision to provide holistic education to the students, and that's why the teacher must be aware of that. Now, what are the different agendas of NEP 2020? So, one thing that is very much delayed. See, whenever any policy comes, there is NCF always comes, and NCF, the National Curriculum Framework. So, but we don't have NCF till now. Government is working, and because this NEP 2020, we already spent more than 1 year. So we should have this NEP NCF. And this then again after the NCF for other courses, there will be a National Curriculum Framework for Teacher Education as well. So that will be called NCFT 2021, and that is expected to be formulated by the different with the discussion of different stakeholders, state government, ministries, everyone. So NCFT 2021 is now it is 2022, but still we are waiting for NCF and NCFT 2022. This is one of the agenda, and that will focus on the teacher education curricula for vocational education. So definitely, those you all are running the B.Ed program, the course will be reformed again. I think it is reformed in 2014. Now again in 2022, it will be changed a lot. So all the regulations as well as the program, there will be a lot of change. One thing that is expected, and that is in the agenda of the NEP 2020, is that teacher will be given more autonomy in choosing the aspects of pedagogy. So it is not that a fixed pedagogy for any other kind of this teaching. You are free to choose any pedagogy that you find effective for the students to teach. And then you can also focus on the socio-emotional learning. So socio-emotional learning is one of the fact. Because when you talk about the holistic development, it is very much important that socio-emotional aspect must be practiced by the teachers. Then the third thing is that teacher will be given the continuous opportunity for self-improvement. Self-improvement is very much important. That it is not that you have done B.Ed and that is final. It is that you have to learn every day. I am teaching since 2001, and in every class I learn something new. The same thing is with you as well. Sometimes you have to learn if there is any innovation, if there is any new pedagogy, if there is any advancement in your profession. So you have to think about all these things. One day we were discussing about it to a forum, and what I found that someone talked about the design thinking, that there is a concept of design thinking, the teaching as well. So then I just get to know, okay, there is some new concept of design thinking, and then I explored that thing. So similarly, new things are coming in our profession, in the teaching profession, in the profession of teacher educators, and we should try to learn these new things as well as whatever is happening at international level. So it is very, very important. Now, what other agendas are there? First thing that each, as I mentioned, I'm again repeating this thing, and you must remember this thing, that this is one of the important agenda of NEP 2020, that each teacher will be expected to participate at least 50 hours of continuous professional development every year. So this is one of the things. Then one very much important aspect about their selection and after their salary and other working conditions. I think there is always exists a gap between the government policies and the salary and other wages to the teacher that actually exists when you talk about the private sector as well. Sometimes you will find difference from the central institute to the state institute, and then from state institute to the private institute, and from private institute you find the difference from the private colleges as well as private schools and government schools. So there is a lot of variation So that is one of the agenda is there, that one robust merit-based structure of tenure, promotion, and salary structure will be developed. This is one of the agenda of NEP 2020 with multiple levels within each teacher stage that recognizes the outstanding teacher. And so this NEP 2020 will honor and recognize the efforts of all educators in making India a Vishwaguru. So this is a vision of NEP 2020. Now, as I mentioned, that NEP 2021 is to be drafted. So this is one of the things. And the another aspect is that for teacher education, this standalone, for example, earlier B.Ed colleges were allowed to run only B.Ed program. And but now any college can only run the B.Ed program when it has multiple discipline in its college, in that college. And now the things are very, very particular. I think everyone is aware about the fact that if NCT is asking for submission of PAR, and if you have not filled the PAR, then they are making the session 2022-23 of any B.Ed and M.Ed as a zero session for those colleges who have not filled the PAR. And it is now after the order of the Supreme Court. So that's why now it is very important to develop the multidisciplinary universities, multidisciplinary colleges, where they can learn. The B.Ed will be run in collaboration with the other departments like psychology, philosophy, sociology, neuroscience, languages, art, music, history, literature, physical education, science, mathematics. So, and that will help in developing the research scenario also, that it will carry the cutting edge research in various aspects of education, because you know that education itself is a multidisciplinary subject. It is not any single discipline. You have components from each and every discipline. Then this B.Ed degree will a range of knowledge, content, and pedagogy. It is not only the pedagogy. Sometimes when I was teaching in B.Ed program here in Kohima, we are having only M.Ed. But earlier I was teaching in B.Ed and I found that students are lacking in content knowledge as well. So we assume that they will have the content knowledge, but this was the problem, and that's why this NEP 2020 also focuses that it should also take care of content knowledge in the training program. So the curriculum, what are the changes in the curriculum is expected, that it will include the techniques of pedagogy for foundational literacy and numeracy, then multi-level teaching, then evaluation learning, children with disability, and with a special reference to the use of educational technology and learner-centered and collaborative learning. So these are the things that is to be. And one more agenda is there, that there will be shorter post-B.Ed certification course. That there will be B.Ed, and then there can be a post-B.Ed certification course. So that will be also available for career growth and teachers who wish to move to any specialized area or teaching or leadership or anything. So there are some certificate course will be there after doing B.Ed. So that will help you in the professional development. And definitely the recruitment is one of the aspects of teachers program. And for recruitment in private or government school, the teacher must qualify through the teacher education test. And definitely demonstration class must be there, interview must be there. So there should be some good criteria of selection and employment. And this TET, earlier you know that there is a CTET. So this eligibility test will now be extended to cover teachers across all the stages: foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and secondary stage. Now there are 4 stages: 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. And this TET will cover all of them. So NTA test scores will also be considered for recruitment. The NEP 2020 promotes the idea of recruiting teacher to a school complex and sharing them across the group of schools. So this is a new concept. Earlier, and this is a fact also, I think everyone knows that every school may not have all the facilities. So the group of schools may work together to utilize the facilities available to each other. And in that case, the teachers and good teachers can also be used. For example, if one school is not having a music teacher and another nearby school is having music teacher, So they can collaborate with each other, and that kind of school complex is one idea that is fronted in this NEP 2020. This NEP 2020 also encourages the school complexes to hire local eminent persons or expert. For example, if there is someone who is a master of traditional local art, craft, vocational craft, entrepreneurship, agriculture, so to meet the need of teacher to teach newly introduced classical language and vocational and skill subject. Now talking about teaching career and profession. This NEP 2020 talks about creating performance standard for teachers. So this is one of the important aspects, that it talks about the performance standard for teachers, clearly spelling out the role of teacher at different level. Then by 2022, by this year, it just talk about to set a national professional standard for teacher, NPST. So NPST will help in just determining the teacher career management, the tenure, the salary increase, promotions and everything. So this is one of the aspects. It talks about the teacher audit and performance appraisal. So this will be that it is not that you are appointed as a teacher and you will continue without having any of the proper performance appraisal. Then the school teachers must go 50 years of GPD. Then the school principal also have to go for the continuous professional development. Then one thing is very important, that it talks about the international pedagogical approach. So that is one thing, that what pedagogical practices are there in India and abroad. So that can be learned. And teacher empowerment is one of the aspects, because teacher if the teacher is competent, the teacher will always seek for freedom and control over his or her own work. So this will make the feel them empowered and motivate to work them harder and enhance their commitment to their learners. And recognizing the contribution teacher can make in reforming pedagogy to improve the learning outcome. So teacher autonomy is one of the aspects, innovative teaching methods. Then when you talk about the enculturation of teacher empowerment, so it is that when there will be a school complex, so it will reduce the teacher isolation. Sometimes teachers work in smaller schools and they have a lot of talent. So they can share their talent to other schools of a nearby place. So this is called schools Vidyalaya Sankul in Hindi, and school complex in English. So to help schools and school complexes evolve in this teacher, the school management has been directed to ensure adequate and safe infrastructure and sharing of infrastructure. Sometimes one school may have internet, other may not have internet or library. So these resources can be shared by the students. Now, I am just want to sum up my discussion. And summing up the first thing is that it is very vital, teacher education is very vital in creating the pool of school teachers that will save the next generation. Then teacher preparation is an activity that require multidisciplinary perspective and knowledge, formation of deposition and values, and development of practice under the best mentors. And teacher must be grounded in Indian values. This is one of the important aspects, that it should has Indian values, languages known. This NEP 2020 promoting the local language as well, ethos and training including the tribal tradition, while also being well versed in the latest advances in the education and pedagogy. Then, in order to maintain uniform standard for teacher education, the admission to pre-service teacher education program shall be through suitable subject and aptitude test, as we discussed. National Testing Agency and other agencies are there to just ensure the cultural diversity of country. Then faculty profile in the Department of Teacher Education and Education will necessarily aim to diverse and but teaching field, their research experience must be valued. It is not only the teaching, there is kind of research must be there. Then faculty with the training in areas of social science, they may have knowledge of psychology, child development, linguistic, and all these subjects. They will be attracted and retained in teacher education. It is not only those who have done B.Ed. So faculty from other department, they will be also be attracted to teachers department to strengthen the multidisciplinary education and of teachers and provide a rigor in conceptual development. So this is all from my side. Thank you very much. And now the house is open for the discussion.
Yes, if anybody is having any question, I request they may write in the chat box or they can unmute their mic and directly ask. Yes. Any query, any question?
See, there are three type of situation. One, that if you don't listen anything, you will not have a question. Then second stage is that if you understood all the things, then you will not have a question. If you don't understand anything, even then you will not have any question. So the question is only possible when you have gone through all these things. As you know that it is already mentioned that no study, no confusion, more study, more confusion. So I want, if you have any query, anything in your mind, you can just ask.
Sir, I think you were having so many things now. I think teachers are reflecting on your words because, yes, for teachers, updation for their professional development, so many things as you shared with all of us. So I think so. Okay, so I think I should propose the formal vote of thanks.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
sir, yes. Sir, as you said, yes, I agree with you. The teacher should be at center of all the reforms in education. And as we all know, we are continuously talking about the implementation of NEP 2020. And yes, I again agree the teacher should be empowered with knowledge and skills. So continuous professional development of teachers is urgent need for reforms in education. So first of all, I'm very grateful and thankful to Professor Gyanendra Tiwari, sir, resource person for the session. I'm very sure, sir, that your words of wisdom will surely provide all of us the reflection ability to empower ourselves to be a part of this reform so that we teachers and teacher educators will be able to contribute to nation's growth in a better way. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and thank you for calling me. I think that we can just have more collaboration and more such kind of interaction. This is a very good platform. I have gone through the brochure,
Yes,
so I found that you have a very good collaboration, as well as you are going to publish the papers also. So this is very good thing, and keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to Dr. Sister Tanuja Wagmare, Principal Sister Teresa's Institute of Education, and to Dr. Father John PJ, Principal, the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, for their motivation and support to conduct such programs for students and teachers. I want to thank Dr. Sister Sonia Kurian, Vice Principal, for her guidance and support. Wholeheartedly, I want to show my gratitude to Dr. Sheena Thomas, HOD, Department of Education, and Dr. John Lopez, Organizing Secretary of the National Webinar. I want to thank all the teachers of St. Teresa Institute of Education and the Bhopal School of Social Sciences for their inspiration, support, and motivation. I want to thank all the participants for their patient hearing and listening. Thank you very much. And now I want to give the mic to Ms. Adrija.